Hey, welcome to the award-winning 99% Radio Network here in the Fishbowl, broadcasting you live from Fishbowl Studios here in Bedford, Texas. We are powered by the OBBM Network and brought to you by the Biker Wolfpack. Ow! That's a Glenn Lawson law firm with the accident injury attorneys who are on your side, man. If you ride, make sure you have the Biker Wolfpack on your side. Glenn Lawson Law Firm is dedicated and experienced attorneys that are not those billboard marketing attorneys. They are there for you each and every day. They give back to the community and they are part of your family. Give them a shout at 737 The Wolf. That's 737 The Wolf. Man, I want to welcome everybody today. As you can see, we are going to 3 hours today, giving us a little bit more time, so we are not going to be rushed. Excuse me. But today is all about our veterans and our past veterans. It is Memorial Day weekend coming up, and we want to make sure that, you know, once again,
hot dogs.
It's not all about or mattress sales. It's about remembering our veterans. And, you know, I've been putting out posts on what does Memorial Day mean to you. And today we have some guests that we're going to be bringing on a little later. But right now we got Rick McNeely, man. Rick, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, my friend. It's always good to come over and see what you guys are doing on this side of the station.
Rick hosts a show right across the hall called Alley Rally.
Yep.
And, you know, Rick's a military veteran, Army.
I'm not a veteran.
Oh, you're not a veteran. You're still active. You're still active.
1st Battalion, 4th Brigade, brother. That's right.
You know, one, I want to get into that quick story that you told me that you had on Facebook that was really heartwarming. But what does Memorial Day mean to you as an active military member?
As an active military member, it's a big source of pride. These are the people who paid the ultimate sacrifice, but they are the precursor to what the military is. You know, they've laid the foundation for us as soldiers to remember how things were done, either combat or, you know, domestic, how a protocol, you know, the pride in uniform, you know, walk with your head up, head, you know, together, make sure your gear's looking good and sharp. We represent all these people who have been in our past and have made our country as strong as it is. So it's got a real big meaning for me and for my unit and all those that have served. And also my grandfather was in World War II. Proud of that. My father, 26 years Air Force, served in Vietnam 2 tours. So It's like a family thing, right? So I'm in my 8th year in the Guard right now.
Oh,
I just got back from deployment actually on Sunday. So
I know I saw your Facebook post, you in the rig. Yeah, I saw you.
Yeah, and the terrible chow they gave us. MREs do crazy things to y'all's body. Let me tell you right now, you don't need a liquid plumber when you get back. And I don't mean for your house pipes either.
You know, Rick, when we were out in the hall before, you told me about a story you had posted on Facebook. You know, and this really means a lot to the family that received this.
Sure.
So I want to share this with our audience because it is really heartwarming, and it's something that everybody should take heed to and know. There are certain things that you don't do in society as an American citizen. You don't step on the flag. You don't burn the flag.
Nope.
You don't desecrate the flag. If you have a tattered flag, you bring it to the local VFW and you give it its natural disposal memorial service.
Sure.
And that's where you can dispose of your flags. But, you know, you found a flag.
Actually, my friend's coworker found the flag. And the thing is, a coworker, first of all, her name is Brandy. And she called me. She said, I work at a laundromat. She said her coworker found a flag that was in a case, you know, a memorial case, kind of like what this gentleman has here. It's folded in the, you know, traditional triangle shape. It's in a triangle case. And her friend said, well, since I found it, I want to sell it.
I want to sell it.
Huh.
You heard me. She wanted to sell this flag. But when they opened up the flag case, she found the flag, and then they had a little triangle shaped card of a funeral home. And, you know, the address and phone number and stuff. But on the very back of the case, there's a name, date of birth, date of death. That indicates to me it's a veteran. It's got a funeral home for a reason. It's folded up nicely. And just like that one right over there, it's got the plastic case to cover it inside. So again, all the indications are it came from a military funeral of some kind, memorial, something like that. I told her, I said, if she wants a flag, she can buy one online, but she's not going to sell that flag.
No.
That belongs to somebody.
Right.
So Brandy.
That means something.
It means a lot.
They all mean something, but that's like got like
absolutely.
That's got somebody attached to it.
You got it. And being in the military, I said, you know, I know the characteristics of what goes on. I said, you get that flag, you bring it to me. So she took the flag from a coworker who got upset that she did, because she said, quote, I have it listed online for sale, but my dad saw it and he would want to buy it for $50. I said, we're not buying anything. I said, you bring that flag to me. I had just got into the threshold of my house, uniform still on. She comes by, brings it to me. I look at it. I see it. It stays here. It stays here. So that was on Sunday. Monday, I called the funeral home, told him what happened. He said he'd get back to me. He called me yesterday morning, 9 o'clock, and said, here's the thing. Of course, this man did pass away. That's the right man. We buried him. His wife passed away. His only child, his son, Virgil, lives in Euless, Texas. And he passed away 2017. But here's his obituary in case you can contact his family down there. So I get the copy. I look at it, and everything's listed there from his kids to the grandchildren. And I posted it on Facebook. I said, does anybody find these people or friends of these people? We'll talk to them. The granddaughter is a friend of mine. So I sent her a message. She does not know me. I do not know her. Within 7 minutes, she says, hey, who are you? And do you have something that belongs to me? I told her what happened. She described the name. She said, that is my grandfather's flag. My mom had packed it, but she had to move in a haste. And when she got to where she was, she unpacked. It wasn't there.
That's crazy.
She told me the name, date of birth, dated that before I even showed it to her. So I knew this was legit. And she's listed on the obituary. So I sent her the pictures of what I had. She said, that's him. We've been looking for that.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I said, well, it's under my care until further notice. But the people were trying to sell your great-grandfather's flag, and I wasn't having it. I don't know if there's a law or anything like that. If not, there should be. But you are not selling that flag. But if you want a flag, you go buy one. Don't sell one that belongs to one of our heroes.
That's right. And, God bless you, Rick, for doing that. I mean, because you took those extra necessary steps to move forth and search out who that belonged to. And that probably means so much to that family. You go into any military household and you will see a flag folded in a triangle from a past military member of their family. And that's what they hold sacred.
Exactly. Means a lot.
I can't imagine the loss that they felt when they misplaced that flag or they, didn't pack it in haste.
Got packed
So,
yeah.
So
because the lady that I initially tried to contact, Virgil, that's his only child, that was his wife. And see, I got a message when I'm talking to the granddaughter. She had passed. That's why she didn't answer on her Facebook message. But the granddaughter was like next in line and said, hey, you know what? I'm reading this on grandma's whatever. And I had to contact you. I'm like, well, I've got it. I showed her the pictures. She identified. She goes, this is exactly what we've been looking for.
Wow.
So she and her husband are making arrangements to come get it. I said, well, I'm not going to sell it. It's not going anywhere. We won't have that. But I contacted Brandy this morning, who gave me the flag, and she's doing backflips. She's like, see, I knew that girl was going to try to sell it up to no good. Fine. If you want a flag, go and buy one, but you will not get an honored flag. You can't put a price on honor.
A lot of these
dignity. You can't do that.
A lot of these flags are passed down from generation to generation to generation. Some of them are old and have so much history behind them.
You got it.
And if you ever come across a flag, do the right thing. Show the respect to the military members who fought and died for our country, because that flag represents everything they have.
It does. And if I couldn't find a family member, my next move was to go to the Medal of Honor Museum that's here in Arlington.
Yes.
Because they got connections of all kind of things. I said, I know you guys would take great care of it, but it's not going to be hanging in somebody's garage above their pool table. It's just it's not going to happen. So that's what happened. We are glad that the family's got it. His great-grandfather, he was in World War II. So he was a World War II veteran. It goes way back. Born in 1913, died 2002. Wow. Henry Meintz, M-E-I-N-T-Z was his last name.
Well, Rick, once again, man, thank you so much for doing that. I'm sure the family is grateful. Thank you for your service. I appreciate it. You really brought Memorial Day. You brought the true meaning to Memorial Day, man. It's giving back to those who we've lost and remembering those who we've lost. So I appreciate it.
And for them to have that history passed down to the next generation or whatever, but it stays with them. Whatever they choose to do, I say it's up to them. It's up to the family to choose what they're going to do and honor their loved ones. But we can't sit here and say, well, it's an old piece of relic and it doesn't mean it much. It means so much.
Yes.
To everybody and those serving in the military and those that appreciate what America's all about. So
once again, Rick, thank you so much, brother. Catch Alley Rally every Wednesday from 2 to
1 till 3.
1 to 3 on the Fishbowl Radio Network, man.
Why are you messing me up like that, huh?
I don't know, man. Well, thanks, Rick. We're gonna play a little Memorial Day ad to remember our fallen, and we're gonna bring in Glenn Lawson from the Biker Wolfpack right after this. Welcome back to the 99% Radio Network here in the Fishbowl. Man, that was an inspiring story from Rick McNeely with Alley Rally. You know, to find a flag, to have someone say that they're going to sell that American flag for $50. I don't know how you can put a price tag on such a memorial item like that, man. That's just it's beyond me that somebody would do something like that. You know,
Trying to steal the buttons.
Trying to steal the buttons. But I want to welcome Glenn Lawson with Glenn Lawson Law and the Biker Wolfpack. Glenn, you are the title sponsor of our show, and we thank you so much for it. You bring so much energy and knowledge to our viewers, not only in the biker industry, but in the community. You know, I saw you out on Facebook. You know, it's not always about being an attorney. It's about giving back to the community, and that's what you and Robert do. You go out to these events and you support them. Yes, you promote, but you also support the events that are near and dear to your heart. So I want to thank you for that.
Absolutely. How are we doing on the mic? We doing okay? I've been accused. I've been accused of like moving my hands too much, like too much coffee.
We're gonna just keep your hands up like this.
So I'll be a little more centered today. Okay. And the reason why I'm using that as a segue today is that I want to give a little bit of information, and we'll talk about something fun. Also, I want to talk that our firm is doing. We're doing a motorcycle contest at the end of the year, and those that want to enter, there's a link coming up in a minute that you'll see there. And basically, every year around Pearl Harbor Day, we do a motorcycle contest. And the good news is, it doesn't matter if it's a Harley or a Triumph or a Ninja or whatever. if it's got 2 wheels and you want it and $20,000 bike of your choice, we just ask that you have us with you when it happens and that you're the winner. And we want to celebrate that, because in today's world, there needs to be more joy, right? There needs, because the people that supported this country and lost their lives in honor of this weekend, the core functions of what America used to be are still there, y'all. They're still there. And it's really confusing right now in a lot of aspects, but the core principles of what this great nation was are still there, and they're in the blood and the veins and the bodies and the minds and the souls of our troops and those that lost their lives. So in honor of that, I thought to myself, what information, because I love road trips, could I give for folks that are hitting the week, going on weekend trips, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got back to what I did in March when I was up in Vermont, and my personal mission this year is to locate as many Vietnam memorials that I can and go to them physically and take videos and pictures. And I've got a few done. I got a long way to go, but I'm on a mission of it this summer, so hopefully we'll see that out. And just as a little preview, those of you who don't know, in Tarrant County here locally, there is a big support movement over at the Veterans Park over on Camp Bowie, and they're working on building and raising money for the Tarrant County Vietnam Memorial that's soon to be there. There's bricks that can be purchased in honor of those that lost their lives, whether they're during the conflict, during the war, afterwards, all of that, right? Not going to get into all that, but there's a lot of trickle-down effect from the Agent Orange and all the different things that happen. And it's well known that well over, I think the count is now 250 people are going to be on that memorial, and unfortunately more are counting soon because of the effects of that war. So it's something that needs to happen, and it's something that local communities. And so if you want to get involved in that project, reach out to me. I've been in personal contact with the treasurer and some of the other people that are involved. My firm is going to be a sponsor of that foundation and that particular memorial there in Tarrant County at the park off of Camp Bowie. We're going to make that happen. The other thing,
when you were in Vermont, I think it was March.
Yeah,
it was March, and you did that video. It brings such a we all go out on these rides, and we forget about when we see those signs like you saw, historical marker ahead. We're always like, hey, where's the Buc-ee's, or where's the nearest beer joint, or
right.
No.
You ride to these historical points and remember those people who really gave us
and they're beautiful.
They really are, man. And you brought so much aspect, and it's like now every time I pass a historical marker, I'm like, I got to stop. Glenn stopped. I got to stop and see.
It's so amazing. I think let's have synchronicity today, because literally, I haven't even told you this, but the resource that I wanted to provide to everyone,
right,
is a particular county website, a random county website, which I'm going to give in a second. And the purpose of this link that I'm going to share is to be able to look up all the veteran-based historical markers that exist in the state of Texas.
I was thinking there'd be like a Glenn Larson touring map,
because
app.
No,
but that's cool.
So here it is. Okay, I'm going to go slow.
Yeah,
I'm going to send it up right now.
We'll get it.
Just to your cell or what?
I'm gonna
put the link on.
Here it is.
He's got it.
Oh, you got it?
He's got it, big guy. Look, you're important now. Now you just gotta sit here.
It's from Waller County, but the website is co.waller, WALLER.tx.us, and I hope that's correct. But the link is a link on their website directly to all of the counties of the state of Texas, and the different places you can go and check out different plaques and different things related to veterans-based and other historical-based markers. So that way, when you're going, you can kind of get a preview if you want to stop or not, right? Just to keep it real, because you got kids in the back, or you're hauling ass on your, you're going pretty quick on your motorcycle. But I just think you get off the side of the road, slow down. In today's world, we need to go slow and low sometimes, and just get and take our time and really read those things. There's a reason why Texas, our great state of Texas, is one of the most informational based places and so much history right here in our own backyard.
And Texas lives on low and slow. I mean, barbecue everything. So might as well.
I don't know about
drop
that.
it Low and slow.
You haven't been to the Coda track with me down in Austin yet
No.
because we go pretty quick there.
Is
But
that
you
an
know,
invite?
I'm just
But
teasing.
what an awesome bike ride that would be.
Yeah.
You
I
think about it, you know,
That's what I'm saying.
instead
Like
for
the
a
Lynn Larson, you know, touring app of like.
yeah, I mean, you want to do a poker run, you want to do any type of
And then you put
military bike run.
yeah, put
hit-
the watering holes next to it,
Yeah. Well,
food holes, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
speaking about food holes, hey, Randall
Food
Thompson.
holes.
Speaking about food holes, Randall
How about
Thompson
putting it in
with
your mouth?
Trouble Tea and Lone Star Cuisine is on. One of the
People
I'll
are
tell
still
you,
talking about that
my
barbecue
favorite brisket
That is
sandwich ever.
stuff. Mhm.
And Randall just confirmed.
I
he-
need you September 20th, Randall.
Well, I just booked Randall for August 9th
Oh, did
for
you?
the tattoo mark thing right here in on Industrial, and we're going to give you more about that very
This September
soon.
20th
So
as
we're
well.
booking you, Randall. We got you, man. We want to
Gotcha.
spread that good food out there.
We need your meat. Sorry.
I also wanted to visit with you guys and share some information that is, you know, we always talk about distracted driving, right? Okay. But that's after the fact that we've seen it happen and something bad's
Mhm.
happened. So what are some of the things that you can do? And I know this might be controversial for a lot of the different people that ride motorcycles, but there are some benefits to technology, which usually I'm hating on technology. But today I would say that, man, if you don't have one of those blind spot laser deals, you know, on your bike or something of that nature to help with that line of sight, especially with the Memorial Weekend traffic, you know, try one of those out. And then I do have an apparel information I want to give, and that is a company that some of y'all probably know about, but it is called, excuse me, and we can share it on the link here if it's okay.
Sure.
It's called, and I learned about this at our, we did a big bike show down on at Radio Coffee in Austin on the east side. We had a big turnout, but one of the guys that won one of our helmets, because we, you know, it's motorcycles safety awareness month, and he won a helmet that we gave away, and he was sharing with me a company called Peripheral Apparel. You all ever heard of that?
No, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
So it is a, you know, good looking clothing that has all these hidden designs, made mostly designed here in the United States and mostly made in the United States in different places. Not all from, you know, that place with the red and the 2 gold stars.
Mired in America.
But to be clear, I don't know for sure on all that. But the bottom line is a great product. A lot of the guys and women I know that ride in Austin, you know, support that company. And check out their website. They got a lot of like really cool clothing that has integrated reflective gear in it. Because the reason why I brought it up is because he and I were talking about the benefits or the cons of those, you know, brake lights.
The
on
brake
your
light
helmet.
helmets that Lori
that
talks
Lori
about.
loves.
And
Yeah.
a lot of my friends who ride sport bikes and different stuff, they're like, you know, if you're moving around a lot and this kind of thing, and you're, you know,
Well, they like to dance.
the G-force of it, they're not sure. It's not proven science. But what is proven is just a friendly reminder, especially if you're riding at night, man, got to have some reflective gear on. And this company has a lot of clothing that doesn't appear as, you know, integrates a little bit more in society and kind of a little more flexibility.
Well, I don't know.
there.
I think they need to
So-
send us some free shit so I can.
Yeah,
for myself.
especially since we're plugging them right
Otherwise,
now,
I'm not going
right?
to talk about them anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just
No.
kidding.
Well, just speaking about free stuff, I want to give a big shout out to Leather Up and
Yep.
Motorcycle Mayhem,
Yes.
who
It's very nice.
donated those leather vests and donated the leather vest to DJ Daniels, who is you know, continuously getting inducted
Yes.
into police office agencies around the country as he battles his illness of brain cancer.
Mhm.
So you know, look up DJ Daniels, look up Leather Up, and as well, because they are a big supporter. You know, you think about the motorcycle community on how much, and someone said this to me the other day. They were so impressed on why the motorcycle community supports so many different organizations. I said because they're just true Americans. They are blue
Mhm.
blood. Are we getting phone call? Oh, blue blood Americans, hardworking individuals who will give you their last dollar.
That's right.
You know,
Mhm.
to support a
They ride with
cause.
purpose.
They ride with
They
purpose.
like
Exactly.
having something to look forward to and plan and do something that means well and like it feels good to their heart.
Yeah.
You know,
we're just big old teddy bears.
They're just contributing to society because in the end of the day, you know, money goes, money comes, time goes, time passes, but contribution is what matters. And it creates a legacy. And so I've noticed that that phrase of legacy, that contribution component is such an essential factor to everything. And just to be clear, I mean, I know I talked about this apparel, but you know, man, the Leather Up is just amazing. Their products is just so awesome. Thanks for all the support that they do.
Yeah, and like you just said, you know, here, you know, the men and women who ride motorcycles, or you know, it doesn't be a club, or you're somebody who has the freedom of the road. You're working a 40, 50, 60, 70-hour work week sometimes, you know, and you got a family, but you know what? When a weekend comes and there is a cause or a mission on that Saturday, everybody's hopping up on their bike at 7 a.m. when they could sleep in, but they're going to support that mission. They're rolling down to Texas Harley Davidson.
That's the one time you wake up early.
Huh?
That's the one time you wake up early.
Yes.
You want to wake up early.
You want to wake up early because you want to help.
You have to get up for work at like 6. Oh, I'm not doing it. But there's a ride that starts up, stands up at 7:30. Dude, you're gone by 5 a.m.
that fellowship and that bonding and that ability to have a common cause. I mean, it just ties right into everything that we're celebrating this weekend.
It's the family
Memorial Day too.
Yep. Yeah.
One last thing on my end, I do need to say that when you're riding down the road and you're seeing some signs, the most common distracted form of an Uber or other rideshare driver is that very unfortunate, fatal sometimes left turn in front of you. And statistically, I'm doing some research on it. I'm trying to do some science research through different accident reconstruction experts that I know. But I believe that the statistics are going to show that swerve to the left as an overcorrection when they're on the app and they're distracted is the most common, which causes either a side swipe. Hence, please make sure that if you want to have some technology on your bike, that you've got some blind spot monitors if you feel like that's appropriate for what you want to do. I believe in it. But just a reminder, look out for those signs of distracted driving ahead of you. And the most common one that I've seen is that slight left juggle of the wheel on the driver's side. That is a sign of a possible immediate left turn in front of you. Just be really careful with that. And then again, if you see a guy in traffic and he's got one of those rideshare symbols,
stay away from him.
Just literally either gas it and go past him, or get out of the way, right, as quickly as possible.
And it happens. And we have to be a little pre-motivated too. I mean, we have to look at these drivers when be cautious when you're going down the road. Anticipate exactly. If you see somebody pulling into the left lane turning lane, ease off the gas a little bit, ease off the throttle, and cover that brake with your foot, because you don't know, they may just jot out without even so we have to anticipate as well. Glenn, I want to bring something up there. I don't know if you saw the text I sent you, but last week
he was driving. He wasn't supposed to look.
We were talking about that the trucks that were unmanned trucks driving from Houston to Dallas.
Yep.
And I just saw an article saying they're pulling back on that a little bit, and they're going to have a manned driver in there. Though he won't be driving, the truck will still drive, but he will be there just in case.
And my feeling is probably the insurance companies are the ones lobbying for that, because they want some accountability. And I think that's what's called a defensive safety move. In other words, like many places, we have this safety program, but it's all after the fact.
Right.
It's not on the front end. I mean, even the rideshare apps, if something happens to you, report it here. Well, but it's already happened. So how does that help? Right. Yeah. So I think that's what it is. I think it's just a check the box deal. I don't think it's a really
put some poor sap in the.
I don't know if maybe some of the unions are involved, some of the driving unions are involved in that, just to kind of, I don't even know the politics of that. But what I do know is it's a check the box safety thing, so that they can say that they, quote, have someone in there.
And someone to blame. They'll say, well, why didn't you hit the brake? Or why didn't you? It's his fault.
So you're getting a driverless car with a random dude in it?
Yeah.
That sounds safe for a bunch of drunk girls.
No, it's for
the
the
tractor
big
trailers.
the big
Oh,
tractor
I
trailers.
was
Big
thinking
rigs,
like the van that picks them up. You know, hey, here's your driver.
It's exactly
Uber,
what
but
it is.
there's
So
this
that
guy gonna watch.
the company can blame the guy. It is what it is. You know?
Yeah, and that's
Well, I want
yeah.
that job. I just want to sit there and be like, okay, drive. Just sit here and watch my Netflix and eat my snacks.
yeah.
Right.
Passenger seat.
I don't know, man.
So I was reminded by my team to let everybody know that we do also do all other types of injury work. If you need anything, we're here. Just reach out, 737 The Wolf. We're so glad to support and make sure to be safe. And, man, it's fireworks season, right? So I'm pumped about that. Be careful with those fireworks, all right? Also, so be very careful with that and enjoy and have fun in a safe environment. We appreciate everybody, and especially those that served and those that lost their lives to support our wonderful country. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, as always.
Glenn Lawson with Glenn
you.
Lawson Law and the Biker Wolf Pack Band, 737 The Wolf.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Appreciate it. We're going to be bringing up Lori Montoya direct from, I think, Colorado. Where's Lori? Or is she in Vegas? Who knows? We'll find out when Lori comes on. All right. Right after these messages.
Biker Wolfpack Law is a safety organization founded by myself alongside Robert Howell with the primary focus of motorcycle safety, advocacy for injured bikers, and just general protection for those injured while riding motorcycles in the great state of Texas. Biker Wolfpack Law is a division of Glenn Larson Law Injury Attorneys, which is my firm. What's different about Biker Wolfpack Law is it's a community-based, event-based connection component to make sure that motorcyclists have all of the safety information they need, all of the legal information they need, and frankly, if needed, that full-blown legal advocacy in times of injury through no fault of their own.
One of our big events is we do ASM classes, which are accident scene management classes, which are put on with the Road Guardians, group of riders that are usually EMTs, doctors, nurses that also ride. And so they know what can happen when you're out there by yourself. And so it's a very intense class, like how to do tourniquets, how to get a helmet off of a person without hurting their neck more, how to get somebody out of the middle of the road. We do those a couple times a year, and the more safe riders are out there, the better it is.
The second division and component of Biker Wolfpack Law is to sponsor local musicians at bike nights or other community events that involve motorcyclists, but also just the community as a whole. And then third is larger charity organization events or rides to get out in the fresh air and have some fun. What I love most about representing bikers and motorcyclists across the great state of Texas is really one thing. It's about hearing the story. It's about going to motorcycle events, constantly meeting new people and making new connections. One of the reasons why I started Biker Wolfpack Law was to defeat and counteract many of the biases that are out there that, quote, motorcyclists are just dangerous. Make sure that motorcyclists are seen as exactly who they are, very hardworking, very responsible, and very dedicated individuals that deserve the justice that they need.
All right, welcome to Biker Down with Lori Montoya. Let me just give a big shout out to Johnny Rizzo with Motorcycle Mayhem, who's been watching. Johnny, Johnny Rizzo's out there. Lori, how you doing?
Where you at,
I'm
Lori?
good. And where is Lori? Lori is still in Colorado.
All right.
And I'm fixing to go on a cruise for my grandson's graduation coming up on Sunday. So I'm looking forward to 7 days on a cruise boat, sipping my pina coladas. And you know how crazy I can get on a cruise. So
Hell yeah,
Stays
you'll
on
be
the
you'll be at the
cruise.
slot machine with the drink.
bam.
You're
Yeah.
picked up and relaxing.
Sounds like
I can't even imagine 7 whole days of relaxing. It's been quite a long time. In the past 60 days has been challenging. And when I say challenging, you have, awareness month going on and rides. I'm fading in and out here.
Here
But
you
you know,
Fine.
no, it's like I got mushrooms.
oh,
See me, I'm fading in and then I'm fading
Yeah.
out. But anyway,
insinuating.
we have a lot of awareness things going on in April and in May, and I just finished up our Motorcycle Awareness Day here in Colorado, and that was really great. I think we had 75 riders to start with, but a lot of people had other events, and so by the time everybody got to our Dirty Dogs Roadhouse, we probably had 150. And what's funny about it, and I'm sure you guys can relate, you plan a party or a ride or an event, and you always cross your fingers and pray that people will come. And what you find is that there's a lot of things going on and things like that. And so what I always tell people is that the people that are meant to receive the message are the people that are here that day. And so we had a great time. It was funny because Chomper and I actually, I didn't have time to get a lot of donations. And so we literally cleaned out part of our house. Because all year long he comes home with this
You
stuff.
want a salt and pepper shaker?
Yeah, but he comes home and he goes, "Oh, honey, look at this fire pit I bought. You can use this for a raffle." And oh, honey, look at this picture I got on Amazon or
Yes.
Marketplace. You can use this for a raffle. And so we literally went
Yes.
all around our house, went out to the garage and everything else. And it was just really quite amazing to see all the stuff that we'd accumulated. So we were both pretty happy to get rid of that stuff and things. And I know that you saw it, John. I don't know if Pitbull had a chance, but I had sent a shout out a couple weeks ago, really wanting to come up with a motorcycle song that resonated with the biker community. And I was contacted by a gentleman named Tim Dunbar and Dunbar Studios. And if you go on YouTube, look up Dunbar Studios, and he came up with a song called Heaven's Gate. And I literally, few bars into it, said, "Oh my God, this is the song." And John, you have heard it, right?
I have not heard it yet.
Okay, well, how about I post it on the link?
Well, can you get that up on YouTube? Hold on, let's see if what's it called?
It's called Heaven's Gates, and it's Dunbar Studios.
Heaven's Gate, Dunbar
look it up.
Studios. We're gonna look it up and see if we can play it.
A
Real quick.
muscular guy, but anyway, it was very profound. And you guys were always talking about people losing their lives, veteran suicide, the extreme pain and loss that a family goes through. And this song really resonates, the open road. And I just encouraged him. I said, before I premiere this, I said, you got to put it on iTunes or something like that. I said, because people are going to want to buy this song. It's only 99 cents. And so he did, and he's really knocked it out of the park. And we're going to try to get a hold of Moonshine Bandits or country. This is a song that Jason Aldean or somebody would hear this song. And I'm sorry I didn't have it clicked up, or I should have.
I like me some Moonshine Bandits. Have you heard of Moonshine Bandits?
No,
Oh,
no.
I'll send you
Yeah.
like they got some good like biker songs.
We got to get you out more, dude.
I know.
Yeah.
I
If
know.
I even know, I mean, we got to get him
Yeah,
out.
we got to get you to Sturgis and
Yes, girl. And
there's the 85th. I don't know how you.
My
can-
life consists of home, the studio, work, and Kroger or Albertsons. That's
But
what
you did get on the bike yesterday, right?
What? No, I got the ride the other day. Me and Tigger went out. It was
Yeah.
nice. We finally got to get out, and we but the weather looked like it was gonna pour any minute. I was like, I don't care.
See, I went to
Let's
the-
get on the bike and let's just ride.
It rained on
Yeah.
Sunday.
And
so while he's looking that up, but anyway, we ended up premiering that, and there literally wasn't a dry eye in the house. And you know, then we went to, when we got to Dirty Dogs, we put it on the big PA, and we have a gentleman here that's been in the biker community playing music for probably 30 years. His name is Dave Fisk. And somebody that, if I asked him about a song, you know, what do you think? And he said, he goes, that's going to be a number one. And when he says number one, meaning if that's a number one in the biker community, he said somebody should pick that up. I mean, it's really that good, and it moved me, and stuff. So I was really honored about that. But we had some really good news. A couple weeks ago, we talked about the money that the MOST program, Motorcycle Operator Safety Training, was holding on to here in Colorado, which was over $2 million. And ABATE had a meeting with the MOST program, and 2 of their members are now on the advisory board. They're going to now be giving out $100 stipends to the biker community, anybody that wants to get their endorsement. We really made a difference with a grassroots effort here in Colorado, and that inspires me to get with you guys, get with Glenn, and get with Texas ABATE and things like that, and let's put out that information again about $19 million being sat on in the state of Texas. And just imagine if you could take an endorsement class for a couple $100, if you could take an advanced class for a couple $100, if you could take, if an accident scene management class like Glenn is sponsoring to offset the cost, if you could get that for free, you know, if we could give away, you know, a helmet every month or something to engage more of the biker community and unify us all as riders. And, you know, before I was getting ready, you know, I had the news up, and there's this high speed. Yes, Johnny Rizzo, you can sing it.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah. And yes, Laurie Montoya has another hat. This is my Raiders of the Lost Ark. I forget what his name is.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. This is my Indiana Jones hat. So it's pretty cool. I finished my hat class. I am officially a master hat shaper, but that's a different subject in a different time. But imagine what we could do if we all unified in Texas and put that money to really good use, which is why we pay that extra $4 or $5 a month on our renewal every year, is we want it to go to the biker community, you know. So I'm really thrilled about that. So here's what's going on in nationwide in the biker community. Today or yesterday, while Trump was at the Capitol, it was bikers inside the Beltway. And what that is that representatives from every state, whether it's ABATE, Motorcycle Riders Foundation, if you're a club, if you're a HOG chapter member, anybody that wants to come is willing to can come to the Capitol that day and speak to the legislative body in their state, or if you've got the time, you know, you can talk to anybody. Some of the things, and while you know, it's really hard sometimes because I know that everybody loves to throw a leg over. You want to get on the open road and you want to forget about anything that's going on in your life. But make no mistake, there are entities out there, same as the autonomous trucks. There are people out there making decisions that will trickle down and affect your riding. And some of them are, as we've talked about, motorcycle profiling. I don't think I want ethanol fuel mandates in my bike. I know Chomper doesn't. Autonomous vehicle safety and recognition of motorcycles. That was something that we talked about, that's been going on for years, that those systems are having a hard time reading pedestrians and motorcycle riders. I get killed by some semi that doesn't have nobody in it, you know, or even if it's got somebody sitting in the passenger, I'm going to own a company. And because Glenn's going to represent me.
Right? Girl, real. Own that.
Drop the mic. The other thing is preservation of the internal combustion engine. You know, I used to say that out here in Colorado when I rode a snowmobile, you know, that I don't want to be with all the cake, granola eating milk drinkers, you know.
I lived in Breckenridge for a little bit. I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
you know, I want to feel a motor between my legs, you know, and things like that. I need that rumble, you know, and you know, they really are trying to, and I think that comes from a lot from the previous administration, and that's not to get into politics. Listen, if you want an electric bike, I think you should have the right to buy an electric bike, but I don't think you have a right to mandate to me or any biker which one I choose.
Right.
Loud pipes save lives, and I don't know how you're getting a loud pipe with an electric bike.
No, absolutely. And so, you know, this is the point that I'm making is that while throwing a leg over and getting on the open road is important to you, you don't really know how many people are out there trying to take away your rights. So we need to be super thrilled that the Motorcycle Riders Foundation is in Washington, D.C. every day, pounding the pavement, monitoring these bills that are, you know, trying to get through. But it was really great because in Texas, I decided to pull, and the other thing was health insurance discrimination and motorcycle access to public lands, which I guess would be more the dirt bikes.
Oh, okay.
And things like that, you know. Who's to say that all of a sudden one day we get, you know, and that happened to me as a snowmobiler. They wanted to keep the snowmobiles out of West Yellowstone in the winter when the park was closed, you know, because they were too lazy to want to plow the roads and let us be on it. So we had to go to the, you know, state capitol or the, you know, government in DC. We had to fight that because that was a federal thing. So, you know, it definitely isn't something that should affect us, but it does. And all of a sudden you find out about something when people have been fighting about it for years, trying to watch out for your rights. So it's super, just like the veterans, you know, we respect our veterans, but we don't really understand what they go through at the VA. You know, you have to be in it to understand, or have a relative that isn't being treated properly or is on a huge wait list, until it affects you personally. And once it gets on a nationwide scale, it's too late to fix it. And it's too late to change it.
You know, Lori, you just said the words that we kind of bring up all the time, and I'm glad you nailed that home, is that many people don't do anything until it impacts them personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and that could be anything. That could be, you know, on a veteran level, it could be on a medical level, it could be on a bullying level. People seem to sweep things under the rug and not really care about it until it hits their front doorstep, and then they expect the world to come running for them. You know, we have people out there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week that are out there fighting for these causes, and we run events each and every week. There's missions going on each and every week in every county across the country to support this. And you know, some people aren't coming out.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate on you on this one though. So like, I mean, you're saying like, oh, you can't, you know, you need a cause. Well, sometimes it doesn't hit them until that cause hits them.
Right, no.
So I mean, like, there's so much in their life going on. I mean, just juggling your life in general.
I get that.
So I mean, having something happens to them, and then all of a sudden they're gung ho about it. Yeah, because now they see the impact of it, and they're like, "Oh my God, I don't want this to happen to anybody else. Let me get involved."
Yeah, but you're absolutely right. But what I love about what we're doing with this segment is giving a platform for people to hear what's going on. You know, how many people have never been to Washington, D.C.?
Right.
You know, what a great opportunity to put it on your calendar next year. There's no invite or something like that, but what a great time to go to Washington, D.C. and meet up with some of these organizations and say, listen, I have no idea what you're doing or how you're doing it. I wanted to come to D.C. I wanted to see our government, and I wanted to support you because you are working on it 24/7, 365. I just throw a leg over. And that's what you're giving me, is this platform, and Glenn, to say, listen, these are the things that are going on in your community or nationwide. And we as bikers, I mean, again, not to bring up politics, but there's a reason that there were bikers for Trump. Right. Because of the power that the biker community, the millions of registered bikers in the United States. There aren't many other organizations, maybe AARP, Social Security, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
There are some, but not as big as AMA and MRF and Abate Nationwide and Hog Chapter Nationwide. Imagine if we took those 5 organizations to all unify and say, you're not going to do this. When you see a post that says, call your representative, call your representative. Make your voice heard, because what's going to happen is rights are going to get taken away, and then it's going, like we said, it's going to be too late. So some of the things in Texas that your Texas Abate Confederation, Texas Motorcycle Rights Association, I'm sure 90% of your listeners have never heard of these organizations.
That's what I was kind of like, so you're saying, like, a lot of people don't know about these organizations, and that's what was coming to my head of, like, why isn't there like some kind of like resource where there's a list of everything, so people want to find something to get on? There's like a list of like, hey, I like this cause, I like that. Like, is there something that can do that?
If you ride, you should be in tune with what's going on.
But if you're an independent rider, maybe you're not. I mean, unless you go meet somebody at like a Harley or an Indian and you maybe get involved, or you find a group on Facebook. But like,
yeah, but that's something at an endorsement class.
Yeah,
I did, but I mean, I didn't get any like any, like clue of like.
No, but she's saying at an endorsement class, bring these things up.
Yes, I agree.
We can make a pamphlet that talks about what really kind of insurance you need to have and what organizations are in your state. What I will promise you I will do is I will, after I get back from this thing with my grandson, I will make a resource page on bikerdown.org. So it called like a call to action, or do you want to get involved? I could even do it on Motorcycle Rider News. Maybe that would be a better platform to put it on there. But we just need knowledge is power. And I think I end up saying that almost every week that I'm on here is knowledge.
True.
Knowledge is power. And the more you know, the more decisions, right or wrong, that one can make. I mean, that's what I was going to say. I was just watching TV while I was getting ready. And there's this live chase in LA of this sport bike rider. And I'm not profiling it. He was clearly on a sport bike, no plates. And, there's 2 helicopters chasing him. The Popo's after him. And he's just bobbing and weaving. And then I don't know if you guys have ever been out there, but there was this, like, we call them clover leaf exits, where they're really sharp turns. This rider clearly does not know how to control that bike, and almost wiped out. But the lives that he put in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just the lives he put in danger. How hard is it to pull over and just, I don't care what you have going on in your life, you're either going to be dead or you're going to be in jail anyway.
Yeah.
And it's cooler to get home. Than it is to be on the 3 o'clock news. So anyway, but some of the things in Texas that they're working on, the Confederation of Clubs and Independents and the Texas Independent Advocacy Groups, we're talking about motorcycle profiling and law enforcement reform. No offense to anyone in law enforcement. I'm just reading the sheet. Right to repair and preservation of ice-powered motorcycles, which is electric motorcycles. And I was like, what do you mean
ice-powered? That's a sensitive word.
I was
these
like,
days.
Ice-powered. I didn't know where you were going with that one. I was like,
there are all these little people like pushing the bike. I didn't know.
Insurance parity and medical discrimination. Woo! I already read that. Okay, so then I read what is the right to repair initiative. I know we're all trying to keep a straight face. The first time I ever had I had what I called it in case of emergency, and somebody's like, I don't want that ice card. So the right to repair, I don't know if many, I'm sure you guys know some motorcycle repair shops that are beginning to
a lot of money there.
That are beginning to complain that Harley and other manufacturers are making it very difficult to get parts, because what they want you to do is they want you to go to the dealership where you're going to get overcharged. They want to not make older parts as accessible. That will make you have to purchase a new bike, possibly. You know what I'm saying? They want, it's kind of like cars. It's really hard to get parts for a 2005 Hummer because they don't make them anymore, and stuff. And so that's part of it. Access to diagnostic tools and software. The manufacturers are making it very difficult to get a hold of that. Availability of repair manuals. You should be able to, on any bike, be able to go somewhere to some manufacturer and say, I need a 2012 whatever. They're making that ownership and data rights, cost and competition, and it's just really crazy to me that there even needs to be a conversation about this.
Yeah, no, I've been looking for a fan belt for my 77 Pacer and I can't find one.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah, it begins with a capital P.
They're weeding him out for a reason.
Yeah. But we're going to have on Motorcycle Rider News, I kind of did a spotlight of my friend Shannon in Nevada is out there. My friend Stump here from Colorado went out there. It's just really great. But, I will say is that most of the people that are going out there are quite a bit older than myself. Not Shannon, because she'll kill me if I imply that she's older than me. But what I'm saying is that we have a lot of old school bikers that have taken the lead. And we need to bring more new blood, more social media, more technology. We really need to get more actively involved in a sport that we all love so much. So,
Yeah.
Did he find the song?
Did you find the song? Oh, yeah. Can you play it? All right. Yeah, we're going to play that
All
song.
right, so I'm going to close out with this song. I'm going to stay on with you guys because I want to see your reaction. But if you would play it, and as I said, we'll post the link. So
is there a video with it too? It's just a song?
Oh,
okay.
So you watch.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the name of the song again?
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate. We're going to play a song called Heaven's Gate. It is a biker release song. Go ahead, hit it, Chance.
There was a muscle guy. I wanted to watch the muscle guy.
I'll send you the link. Really listen to the words. It's really powerful.
They parked his bike right by the grave, laid down leather like flowers that fade. Wind whispering through that old pine like he's riding into the divine. No choir sang, just pipes and chrome, and boots that carried him back home. He lived for sunrises on open roads, gas-stained hands and heavy loads. Worked like hell, played just as hard, gave what he could and wore every scar. A man of grit, no need to boast. The ones who knew him loved him most. Ride me home, don't cry too long. Let the engine sing my song. Heaven's gates are open wide, and I ain't scared of the other side. I burn bright, now I'm gone, so fire it up and ride me home. Never needed much, just sky and road. Stories traded where the whiskey flowed. He had no crown, but he wore his name like a man who never played the game. He took the hits and still stood tall. Said goodbye like he'd seen it all. Didn't settle down, but he sure loved deep. Some memories even death can't keep. His hands built dreams with grit and grind, and now his legend rides the line. In every storm and midnight run, you'll hear his voice in the setting sun. Ride me home through mountain air, where the stars still know I was there. Heaven's gates just swung out wide, and I'm taking that long place with a quiet fire that time can't erase. Some folks chase dreams, he lived his truth, never let go of his restless youth. And now the skies his open lane, a rebel soul free from pain. Ride me home like I always did, wind in my face while as a kid. Heaven's gates are open wide, and I'm rolling through with pride. This ain't me, it's just unknown, so twist that grip and ride me home. So fire up the steel and light the chrome. Let them hear me when you ride me home.
That was inspired.
Wow.
That was inspired by every biker that's lost their life. And at the request of Biker Down, Todd came up with that. So I couldn't be prouder, and I just hope it goes viral and makes him a whole hell of a lot of money. But that song's for us. And that's the end of my Motorcycle Awareness Month, unless you all want really shitty video of me on a cruise boat in the
I want a shitty video of a bar on the cruise boat. Yes, absolutely.
We want to see you at the slot machine.
There you go. Winner, winner, chicken.
Winning.
You know, that's actually how John and I met. We talked online, and he's in this pirate costume, smoking a cigarette. He's drunk. I'm drunk. We're all drunk. And all of a sudden, he's like, "You're Lawyer Montoya." And I'm like, "You're John." It's like, oh my God, how great. But anyway, I love you guys. Ride safe. Please remember, if you go down, we step up. But you love the song?
Yes.
Love it. Should be played at every rally. Should be played. We're going to play it.
I'm going to reach out to this dude so we can get the rights to play it
every
once in a while.
Yeah, hopefully Facebook won't take it down.
Oh, well, why don't you do this? Go on my page, because Todd thanked me, and just write him directly. He's a super great guy. He's, I want us to find him an artist that will, I don't want to say buy it, but buy it and make it big. You
he needs to sing it.
He sang that perfectly,
man.
No,
that's not him singing. So he created it and stuff, but we need to get.
I got what you're saying now.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So we need, but he's trademarked it, and it's on iTunes. It's all over. But we need to find that artist that will say, "Let's take this to #1." And I know this biker community and your network of people know somebody, but I'm going to reach out to Moonshine.
You know who would sing that? You know who would sing that song?
Besides Johnny Rizzo?
Johnny Rizzo, but Dave Bray.
Okay.
Dave Bray would knock Dave Bray would knock that song out of the park.
I was thinking Jason Aldean too.
You're going a little higher, but I think Southbound 75 would be good too.
Ooh, they would be good too. Yeah.
Southbound 75 would knock that one too.
Well, listen, if you play it for him and put those people together, and let's make something happen, because that is a song for us, and we don't get that very often. We take rock and roll songs and we find a way to resonate it, but that song is one of the first totally biker songs. And just imagine riding into the sunset, or sadly at a funeral, ride me home, don't cry for me. But anyway, God bless you guys.
God bless. Have a great time, and we'll talk to you later, Lori.
No worries. God bless.
All right. Bye. Lori Montoya, Biker Down. right, man. Welcome back to the award-winning 99% Radio Network here in the Fishbowl. Brought to you by the OBBM Network and sponsored by the Biker Wolf Pack at 737 The Wolf. Oh, once again, this is all about Memorial Day, the meaning of Memorial Day. Hey, type in the comments what Memorial Day means to you. And
don't get it confused with Veterans Day.
And, yeah, don't get it confused. And you know what? A lot of people do get it confused with Veterans Day. And I want to welcome our two military members here. I want to United States Marine Corps veteran Jeffrey Gray and U.S. Army Ranger Gabriel Joseph. Thank you guys for being here today. You guys are allowed to respond.
Yes. Your mics are on.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
They are real people.
Hi, sir.
They're not AI.
Today is a day of remembrance of those who served and made the ultimate sacrifice. So once again, we could be here today and we can live the life and we can speak freely to you about topics that we believe in. And if not for our military members who made that ultimate sacrifice, we would be living a totally different life within the United States. So, I'm going to start off with Gabriel. Gabriel, U.S. Army veteran, Ranger, been on many deployments, and you've gained a lot and you've lost a lot. One of the stories that you do have is about your grandfather, who was essential in World War II, Navajo code talker, right? That a lot of people do not know about. Share some of that with us and tell us what Memorial Day means to you, brother.
First and foremost, thank you for having me on. It's been a while since I've been here and greatly appreciate you guys for this opportunity. I had several of my grandfathers, mom's side and father's side as well, serve as Navajo code talkers during World War II. Before that, I would probably definitely have to say that serving the country and the people as a whole has kind of been in my family's bloodline, if you will. For example, I trace my bloodline back to the last Navajo chief that we had, Chief Manuelitu, who signed us into treaty with the U.S. government in 1868, which also released our people from being prisoners of war at Bosque Redondo. And in Navajo culture, tradition, and history, it's also known as a long walk. As we were forced marched, we were forced
Trail
marched.
of Tears, right?
The Trail of Tears was meant for is the name for the walk that the Cherokee, Choctaw, and other tribes, Osage Nation, a lot of the Oklahoma reservations that exist today were placed on as a result of the Trail of Tears. So there are many different walks that have been done forcefully by the United States government and the U.S. Army against American Indians, right? So essentially, when I think about Memorial Day, it all ties in, because in our culture as Native Americans, wherever you go in this country, even Canada, right? And one of the biggest things that we have reverence for is not just the flag, whether it be the United States flag or the Canadian flag, right? But that we have always been warriors as American Indians. I've had during my time in service, I've had guys, pick on me as a result, and like, hey, chief, or hey, I'm like, dude, no, we're not doing it. When you're lower enlisted, you definitely. I started out as a private one. By the time I left basic training, I was a E3, so I was a private first class, and oh man, where I really caught it was in basic training, because funny story about that real quick. I graduated on the Navajo Nation. Our high school mascot was called the Window Rock Fighting Scouts. It was in a small community called Fort Defiance, Arizona. You've been there.
You've been there, yeah.
Where's that by?
Gallup, New Mexico.
Gallup, New Mexico.
You familiar with Gallup, New
I know
Mexico?
where Scottsdale is.
All right, we're in the far corner of northern Arizona, near the New Mexico border, so right off of I-40. And so people think that because of my family's background and whatnot, that I was like, so gung-ho to want to serve my country and whatnot. No, I lost a bet to a recruiter. That is how I enlisted. And when I did, I told the recruiter that I want to do something that is very difficult, that not much people go for, but it's kind of like unique. I just don't want to be your average infantryman type. He says, I got something for you. And so he digs it up and he says, U.S. Cavalry Scout.
I like it.
I looked dead at him and I said, dude, do you know who you're asking about this? To become a U.S. Cavalry Scout in a place where the U.S. Cavalry used to be stationed at in the 1800s, in the late 1860s, right? I said, and on top of all that, I'm full American Indian. And you're asking me to be you. I said, you asked me to turn coat, man. I said, well, what the hell?
Well, he didn't judge you by your cover either. So you should take that.
So along with that, he says, I'll even sweeten the deal for you. I said, well, how much more sweeter can this deal get? He said, you ever thought about airborne? I said, what the hell is airborne? He says, yep. Have you ever jumped out of? I said, dude,
my husband's 82nd Airborne.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's where I started out with. I was part of the 82nd Airborne Division. In basic training, my DIs had given me a real hard time about, do you have any idea what the U.S. Army did to your people? I'm well aware, drill sergeant. I'm from a small place called Fort Defiance, Arizona. And I went to basic at Fort Knox. Little did I know that going into the 82nd Airborne Division, that I would be spending my first 9 months deployed overseas in Bosnia-Kosovo War in 98, 99. And we lost 2 of our guys from our unit. And up to that point, I never really cared personally about Memorial Day, mainly because it was kind of one of those deals that was kind of thrust upon us.
Right. Okay.
But I was also raised by my pops, my uncle. He was a Vietnam vet. And he did 2 tours in Vietnam, got there right as the Tet Offensive happened in 68. And he lost a lot, still deals with it today, right?
Like so many.
Oh, yeah.
Alcoholism. Actually, my father-in-law lives with me. He's an 85-year-old Vietnam vet. I'm a full-time caregiver until I have somebody come to my house and take care of him right now.
I'm pretty sure, like with most, like my pops, I grew up hearing 2 specific stories about bad days at work. And the only time he ever talked about it was when he is completely obliterated drunk. It's the only time he'll ever talk about it. And so, I remember asking him once, Dad, what about our grandfathers from World War II, the code talkers? He says, well, those guys were real heroes. Well, Dad, you went to a very unpopular war. You weren't drafted. You willingly went, right? So what makes you different from them, right? Shouldn't we not honor you as well?
Of course.
And the very first thing that he told me about and it was on Memorial Day, and he said, don't ever get it mixed up, right? He says, number one, Memorial Day is for those who did not make it home, right? He says Veterans Day is for everybody and anyone who served, right? He says, but the difference between me and your grandfathers, right? He said, is that the world needed them in a time when we were told that we could not speak our own language, that Christianity, religion was forced upon us. The same language that they were told not that they could not ever speak by law, right? This is federal law back in those times, right? That they couldn't practice our traditional ways, but yet they were needed to help pass messages between one another. And so, hey, you're up. Why don't you go ahead and relay this message and get it out there, and let's see. He says those guys were world savers.
Yes.
He says all I was a jungle rat.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, Dad, it's a little harsh.
Yeah. But the code talkers were essential in actually saving thousands of lives in World War II. Yes. Because of the messages that they were able to pass and the code that they were able to pass, kept our troops mainly safe. Correct? Am I speaking out of? I mean,
I would definitely have to say that I remember growing up as a kid. I grew up around the majority of the original first 29 code talkers. All right. So I literally personally knew them because I used to, as a kid, growing up on a reservation, I was a sheep herder and livestock herder, if you will. And so it was an honor and a privilege for me to be asked, like, hey, go herd his sheep for him. Okay. And so when I would, I guess when you're a kid, you're like, oh my God, another war story, but looking back, it was like, yeah. And so it's like having the detailed inside story of what was not allowed to be shared or talked about openly. Right. I remember, old man Kinsel.
Old man
Kinsel.
Living down the road.
Yeah.
Sat on his porch, I bet, with a shotgun.
No. He, all you know with Mr. Kinsel is that he had a shotgun, but the thing with him was that he said warfare taught him one thing, and that was the one thing that he always tried to truly live by, that all living things are sacred, which falls in line with cultural belief and tradition. Right. But also that a weapon in a soldier's hand can also mean the breaking point of humankind. I didn't understand that.
That's another deep.
Deep,
yeah. And so for the longest time, he had the shotgun, but he mainly kept it around to protect his flock, if you will. Right. Unfortunately, we did lose old man about 2 years ago. And get this, we want to talk about Memorial Day when I lost my great grandfather, who was a code talker. Right. I just remember seeing, I could swear probably at least a quarter of the Navajo Indian reservation, Navajo Nation population show up for his funeral. Right. And that was Senator John Pinto. He was representative in the state of New Mexico. And to have so many world leaders, to include our then who is now president again, President Trump, make a direct call to our family and to say thank you for your grandfather's service.
Wow.
Nice.
And to see our roads on his funeral path, his procession, and seeing so many of our Navajo people out there holding the U.S. flag and holding the flag of the Navajo code talkers, right? And just waving as they went by.
Respect.
That's when I knew the importance of what losing a warrior of the people meant because he wasn't. I always looked at him as a fighter, but it wasn't until going through my own experiences that I defined the difference between a warrior and a fighter. Right. My grandfather was a warrior, which meant that he served and lived and fought for the people. Right. One of the reasons why he got into politics to begin with was that he fought for the people with explosives and guns and bullets and bombs. Right. He said World War II, especially the Marshall Islands, taught him one thing about humankind. Hojuna Dolech Nahasago is what he would say.
Say it again.
Hojunago Dolech Nahasago.
One more time.
Hojuna Dolech Nahasago.
I'm not even.
Okay.
I'm wanting to.
Whoa, yeah, that's.
I feel like Masago.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I'm just hearing Danielson.
I don't know. I'm just saying like
Hojunago
warrior
in that language.
A Shugano? A Shugano?
Hojuna.
Hashu?
Hojune.
Not
Haju.
a you fucking Italian.
I don't want to butcher such a sentimental. I don't want to butcher such a sentimental statement. So I'm not even going to try it.
So his way of explaining it the best way that he could in our language was that, which means to be upon this earth in a peaceful way. I knew that there had to be a better way to defend not only the people, but this country. He said, and to be able to be in front and at the table with all these other white leaders of this country and of the state, right? He said, it gave me a new perspective and perception of what my life was going to be. He said, I found purpose in that.
Wow.
He says, but I never forget the Marines, my fellow Marines that I fought with on those islands.
I didn't bring crayons.
You know,
There was a bowl out.
you know, the Navajo Nation has, if not the highest percentage of Marines that enlist, you know, even to this day, right? There's two ways that a Navajo kid will end up enlisting to the military. Either he's going to be a double dog or he's going to be a dog face, which is the Army.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And so there's always a competition, and we always find something to pick on about the Navajo kids who end up going to the Navy, Air Force. Like, what's wrong with you, dude?
Well, I'm going to transition. Thank you, Gabriel. I appreciate that. But I want to, transition into you, Jeffrey. Jeffrey Gray, United States Marine Corps. Jeff, what does Memorial Day mean to you?
Mine's quite a little bit different than his, but they're all the same. And what it means is, and it goes kind of back to why we walked the bridge. Everybody that died for their country gave the ultimate sacrifice. That's Memorial Day to me. We have to never forget them. And if we always say their name, they will never be forgotten. That would be the biggest thing I could say. And as long as we keep them alive like him, he's keeping his family alive. As long as we remember them for what they've done for us.
Right.
And that's the difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day, is that we are honoring those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, no matter what war or wherever. Even today, when they die, they've given the ultimate sacrifice for their country, and we have to always remember them.
Memorial Day used to be called, when it first came up, it was called Decoration Day. And, to give you a little backstory on what Decoration Day is, it's when they would go out and they would put flowers and place wreaths at the graves of those who have fallen. They would decorate the graves. So it was initially called Decoration Day, and it transitioned into Memorial Day for those who we've lost. And, you know, both of you gentlemen and veterans have seen your share of loss.
Too many.
Too many. You know, I want to get into one thing, if you don't mind, because she means a lot to you. But I know these two right here mean a lot to you as well, because although they did not die in battle, they died from the battle.
Yep.
You know, and once again, I'm not going to butcher their names, and I want to honor them. I'm sorry. This is your cousin.
Yes.
This is your cousin and your brother,
Mm-hmm.
who ended up taking their lives because of the battle that they fought for us.
Yeah.
And though they didn't die in combat, and Memorial Day does not encompass our veterans who come back wounded and perish from self-inflicted wounds, I want to honor your family today, Gabriel, on this show because of the services that they gave to our country. So please, if you, like I said, I didn't want to say their names because I didn't want to butcher them, but please say their names.
Specialist Joshua J.B. Kanawiti. 2 July 2019, 28 years old. Sergeant First Class John P. Totolina. 2 November 2019, 45 years old. Cut deep, and I lost them both. John and I attended the same basic training in Fort Knox, Kentucky. He was several years ahead of me. He got to go to airborne school. When Iraq came around, we had found out years later down the road that we had actually missed each other out on the battlefield by about 3 days. And that was the last time I would have got to see him. I last saw him really in 2002 when I came back from Afghanistan. Memorial Day since 2019 has taken a personal tone for me, mainly because remembering my brothers, like my literal brothers, and before that, and ever since, you know, Lori Piestewa.
Well,
Yeah.
I was going to bring that up, and let me give you the honor in this, because, you know, you were on a mission. Lori Piestewa, she was Navajo
and Hopi
Indian, and she came from. You knew her prior,
yeah,
from the reservation, and she was assigned to a transport group, and her group came under attack. And if you remember the story back with Jessica Lynch,
yeah.
when Jessica Lynch and her whole unit was taken captive, you were on that rescue team that stormed that hospital that morning and rescued Jessica Lynch. But Jessica was the only living survivor of that unit.
There were several other surviving members, but she got the most attention because she was a female, and it was unheard of at that point in time to have a female combatant, or rather a female soldier of the United States military, to ever been captured in war.
But Lori did not survive that capture.
No, she did not. She died of her wounds sustained in a gun battle with the enemy while trying to defend her colleagues in her unit.
And you mind if it was the atrium, if I remember correctly, like you told me, the atrium of this hospital in the dirt in the atrium is where she was recovered, correct? Was that?
Yes, along with 8 other fallen service members that at that point in time, I personally didn't have any knowledge of that. So just real quick flashback back into that, several years ago, as a result of you and several other good brothers, I was able to reconnect with the guy who actually scrapped that entire mission together at a moment's notice.
By a voice.
By a voice. I remembered him by his voice. And somebody sent me a YouTube video of the actual rescue. And I finally got to see that for the first time, like only 4 months ago.
Wow.
And this happened on April 1st, 2003.
Wow.
And yeah, and I had no idea the footage even exists. But if you guys were to go in there and find that video, and you hear doors crunching and rounds being shot, me and my guys, because we were the door breakers for Pathfinder and them,
Yes.
and his teammate.
Yep, Pathfinder and his wife Meg.
Yeah.
They run an organization out of the East Coast, and we'll share that at another point in time. But thank you, Gabriel.
Yeah.
Once again, I because I don't want to burn too much time. Jeffrey, where did you serve? And like I said, tell us a little bit about what inspired you to get into the Marine Corps, besides crayons, and
those came later on.
Those came later. And what the future held for you when you joined.
Well, I needed direction out of high school, and it's probably the best thing that ever happened to me is I just got the push. And, you know, when you show up to Marine Corps boot camp, at least when I did, it was a shock. I mean, from going from a long hair dude to a bald in 5 seconds, and your whole world changed, and so did his when we actually stepped on the yellow footprints for us. Your whole world changed. Taught me a lot, learned a lot, saw a lot. Didn't see as much as he did, but I went overseas. As a first thing I probably did is I was in artillery. I learned in 29 Palms, California. And then I went to an embassy duty in Sofia, Bulgaria, and Vienna, Austria. And what I learned from there, just showing how great a country we have, what we have compared to what they don't have. And then I came back and went to Okinawa, Japan, traveled aboard ship for many months. Went all over to these, places that's got to see Iwo Jima and where all these battles took place. And it shocks me today how many men and women died in that location.
It's funny. It's funny you say that when you say women.
There was
right?
women.
Because people don't
Nurses.
understand, even in World War II, women were nurses. Even though they were not on the battlefield, they did, they were there in the MASH units. They were there serving, and when those MASH units were attacked or things happened, women did
and they were
perish.
tortured too. They wasn't just, they were prizes. And same thing as he'll tell you about the Navajos. They were hunted down.
They were bartered.
They were really, the Japanese wanted them alive and use them as bait, as you might say,
girl.
to get more of us. That's one thing we do. We don't leave men. We don't leave our guys behind. We'll go back and get them, even if it costs us more lives. It's just the way it's in our DNA. It's what we're taught. We're brothers. And see, we call each other brothers.
Taught you a code.
Yeah.
You're
taught that from me. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. It's resonated into our lives today. It came back to me. I got a mission. You know what my mission is to make sure that, just because they didn't die in combat, you said it, combat took their lives. And I don't like to say this suicides with the military and first responders are much different than a person just gets up. Then, of course, they had demons too. But I mean, this is little things that we could not imagine what they saw. I can't imagine what he saw. And the demons they lost. But our job, me and Gabriel, there's two parts to the Memorial Bridge. There's the part we walk on, and then there's the memorial part now. Our job is to keep those being transferred to there. That's why we walk. We walk. We don't walk for each other. We walk for them.
Right.
And those who, like Memorial Day and Veterans Day, Memorial Day is different because we're walking for those that gave the ultimate sacrifice for their country, men and women.
Once again, where the rubber meets the road, the boots hit the ground, and it's still rubber hitting the road. And if you see in the logo that is in our feed right now for Carry the Load. Now, Carry the Load, speaking about walking, we have many from 5 different states across the country, from as far as West Point, New York, to up in Seattle, Washington, that have spent the last month, 30 days, walking from Seattle, Washington, from New York, from different points around the country. They spent the last 30 days walking, and they will all meet here in Dallas on Saturday at Rivershon Park for Carry the Load to honor our fallen heroes. Come out to Rivershon Park on Saturday and cheer these people on as they walk into that park, because they've made a 30-day trek through weather, through whatever they had to put up, tornadoes, whatever. They've walked, and you'll get to see them enter Rivershon Park on Saturday and Sunday for Carry the Load.
Yeah, I'll be
and that's what it's all about. Gentlemen, I want to thank you both. I want to thank you both for being here and taking the time to share your stories, share what the bridge is all about. We walk it here in Fort Worth on the 3rd Sunday of every month. We meet at the EECU building off 7th Street. You guys walk at Rockwall on Heroes Memorial Bridge.
And we need to get more people. We were just talking about that. We got to do a better job. We talked about that, getting a better job of getting people out there to come help us. Even if it's just me and him, fine. But we need to get the word out more. We've talked about that. We're going to be really bumping it up in the future.
It's not about the numbers. I just want to say it's not about the numbers, because we walked with 3 people. We walked with 3 people at Fort Worth this week, and we still got the message across. I still got over 1,000 views.
Yeah, the views are big. Yeah.
So the message is going across. We share these through social media, and I want to give a big shout out to Johnny Rizzo, one of his people out there, Brian Horn, up in the Catskills, who started Walk the Bridge at the bridge in the Catskills, Rip Van Winkle Bridge, and he had a nice turnout. We were getting text messages on how to be part of that. Your words, your shares have power. If they save one life, change one perspective, make somebody smile, you've done your job. You can't save everybody, but you know what? If you could help that one person,
pay it forward.
That one person becomes many.
That's right. Now one person becomes many.
Don't be a dick, be kind.
You heard it from Pitbull. Don't be a dick, be kind.
That's all it takes. Just saying.
Be a happy dick. Be a happy dick.
Don't be a
All right, guys. On that, it's always good to end such a somber note with
leave it to me.
Leave it to Pitbull.
You're going to get a T-shirt now with that on.
Yeah. Don't be a dick.
How many customers do I get per show?
Yeah. Well, once again, and I want to thank Jeffrey for bringing this. This has been flying on Heroes Memorial Bridge since is the date on it?
It's been about a year.
Been over a year,
Yeah.
and it says Heroes Memorial.
It's gone
Bridge.
through everything. You can tell the color's gone and tore up.
It became a little tattered, and I will take care of this. I will put it in its proper case.
We're all a little tattered.
And
we're still good.
We're all tattered in a way.
We're all tattered in a way.
You're right, and we are still good.
We're still pretty.
Even broken crayons.
And some of us need to be put in a case.
I will put it in a case. All right. Well, once again, thank you guys for being here today. Remember, take their words and absorb them, share them, spread them out, and you know what? Honor our veterans this Memorial Day. Put down the hamburger, put down the beer. Don't worry about the mattress sale. Just say a prayer for our fallen and their families.
Your burgers and your beers. In
Yeah.
between your beers.
There's nothing wrong with celebrating. There's nothing wrong with
remember why you're
y'all.
doing it.
I'm celebrating y'all
But just
because they did what they did.
Just don't
so
forget.
I can celebrate the way I'm celebrating.
right, but just don't forget them.
I never forget.
I know you don't. I know you don't.
But they
All
are
right.
the reason we were able to do what we can do.
That's right. And speaking about doing what we can do, we're going to be back after this with some flex and our biker health. Stay.
What we believe in at Glenn Larson Law is doing one thing and doing it really well. When I meet people, I always tell them we're going to uncover every single rock possible. That's the medical component, that's your story and your voice.
We've solely focused on personal injury, whether that be a slip and fall accident or a commercial 18-wheeler, a motorcycle or DWI, motor vehicle accident. We specialize in that and that only.
When someone says, my neck really hurts, I know exactly how that feels. There's so much more to an injury case dealing with the pain level that people go through and how it affects their lives. And I know how to advocate to make sure that the insurance companies take all of that in consideration in every case.
We're very transparent and open to always keep them informed and stay on top of their case at all times.
Because we're a little bit smaller in team numbers, we're able to really dive into every single case and develop not only a client relationship, but a friendship and a lifelong connection.
We're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We'll meet you anywhere, at the scene, in the hospital, at your home. Whatever's best for the client, we will do every single time.
There is a connection component that I believe our firm is committed to. We want to be connected with you and your family beyond this case so that you know that you have a lifelong partner. Not just a case, but a lifelong connection and a lifelong voice. And we look forward to serving you.
Welcome back, and thank you for listening to Flex Talk. Today's show, a little different. I got some feedback over the last couple months. Things to talk about, topics that either hit somebody's funny bone to being serious about recovery on your bikes and nutrition and fitness. So first one I want to start out with is the quest for the ideal snack. Somebody told me, said, "Oh my God, all the foods in the gas stations. Do I pick the Snickers? Do I pick the protein bar? Do I pick the beef jerky?" Well, this is my thing on that. I would try to be more proactive and maybe I don't know, plan out your meals before you leave. I don't know. I mean, you think about it, you're on your bike. Yeah, I know it's easy to stop at the gas station, but are you really fueling yourself for the long ride? You know, there's a lot of things with dehydration, cramping, heat. I mean, there's multiple things that you need to be on point with your bike. And somebody's, and I appreciate it, Kevin, for letting me know that, that nutrition's not always high on your priority on your bike, but you did express that alcohol was. So next we're going to talk about, and actually, let me see, are you back on yet?
I'm always on.
All right. So let's talk about this. You'll appreciate this. I had somebody tell me about, really, you want to stretch? You're telling me I need to do yoga for motorcycle riding for flexibility on
I get the stretching part because I've had some hard times getting off the bike and I can feel like I didn't stretch. I can tell I didn't stretch.
Right.
It's just, that's not something that's in my normal realm of things to do. So I don't know if I'm doing it right. And if I do, I feel stupid when I do it. So
well, Kathy says, she goes, when I talked about yoga and stretching, she goes, I'm trying to picture a biker trying to practice a downward dog during a break and attempting to do a tree pose while he's balancing on his back.
Yes. And I'm picturing that before he gets on the bike. Like they're all like having a yoga session before they get, mount up.
We all pull over on the side of the road. We're all doing the downward dog, the cobra.
Stretch.
Great.
Yeah.
So my thing is this, guys, is you don't have to do hot yoga. You don't have to do a serious hour class. My thing is the things that are going to tighten up on you on the road. Have some fun with it, but be cautious about what you're doing. Now, let's get that one. So those two were out of the way. Got a couple more. What did he say? I'm not even going to go into spandex and leather. I'm not going to touch that one. Can't do it.
You can go into lace and leather.
I know, right? They were like, is it more comfort? And because, bikers are supposed to wear leather, but then they're saying, well, for comfort,
it's
wear
safety
spandex.
And spandex. No, that's going to melt right to your skin. I think that's
but as a female rider,
as a female rider, I wouldn't put spandex on.
You wouldn't put spandex? What about those yoga pants?
No, I would not. It'd be jeans or leathers.
Good.
I have been guilty of wearing shorts. I am guilty of doing that sometimes because it is freaking hot here, but I'm wearing my boots so I'm not hitting the tailpipe. But yeah, I am exposed, and I realize I am exposed afterwards when I'm
yeah, we think
I don't
about
do it
that
as much anymore.
Gotcha. And the last one, let's see, talked about eating right on the road. They say the struggles of incorporating nutritious foods like broccoli and quinoa into the biker lifestyle. Cooking healthy meals at roadside picnics are probably not ideal unless you're barbecuing, but usually there's beer with that too. Mm-hmm. But I would say that focus on your whole foods. Focus on the things that are going to give you that energy. If it's something that can break down your body, your chips, your candy, your cakes, your Zuzus, Wham Whams, all that good stuff that's delicious at the point. But if it's only going to take the body 30 minutes to break it down, how long do you think that fuel is going to last in your body?
I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So wouldn't there be if the way to go about it for bikers is find more foods that would keep them full longer so they don't feel like they need to snack?
100%.
So have a big breakfast before kickstands up. Make sure you eat before. You're not just going, I'm just going to go to the QT. I'm going to pick a coffee and a Slim Jim, and I'll be good till the next stop. But then you're going there now. I'm like, I'm starving. I want a taquito and I want all these things. And so, yeah, it's about maybe doing bigger portions maybe when you're riding?
Bigger. Well, I would say
Or-
yes. Carb load. I would think if you're going on the long rides, a carb load would be the best idea. And as you're tapering off for the evenings, make sure that you're tapering off more on your proteins and less on your carbs.
Now, maybe that would be maybe a little different for the women because I know there are women riders, but there are a lot of women riders that are behind their men on the bike, and it's fatiguing. You can get tired being a passenger. I mean, maybe more hydrating fruits and vegetables while they're traveling instead of like the heavy stuff that makes them tired being a passenger princess. I don't know, things like that to also look at.
What about hydration? I mean, I know that we don't have a bunch of juice boxes and water bottles on our bike. What,
No.
What's,
Pedialyte. That's
it's
my
Pedialyte.
go-to is Pedialyte.
Pedialyte? What about you? What about you?
Especially here in Texas. I just hydrate
The
with
sweat of my
water.
enemy's tears.
What I'll do is I'll take
or something
I'll
like
take
that, right?
like my cup that I have here, fill it up with ice water, and I'll throw lemon or lime in there, just to give it some taste. But hydration is important. But like you said, instead of stopping at those QTs,
That's where the meeting point
right,
is.
but a little proper planning prior to the ride on your food intake could really benefit you a lot.
True. And something that I learned from an Indian friend of mine, he told me about the camel diet when it comes to hydration, where he'll get about at least 40 to 50 ounces of his water before 9 a.m.
That's what I was going to say. Like my biggest hydration part is in the morning. If I don't get it in the morning, I'm not going to get it because I get so lost in everything that I don't hydrate as much as I'm supposed to. So if I don't get it first thing in the morning, I feel like that's also important. Like get it out of the way. Get the couple glasses you can. You're going to be on a long ride. Get the water in. Get the food in. Plan. That's the way I think. When you say plan, a lot of people think, oh, I got to pack my lunch. No, I'm not necessarily saying that. You got to plan because you got to eat prior. Before you go.
But when you think about it, all right, packing your lunch, right?
You're gonna have your lunch box on there.
No, but you know what? A snap can of tuna.
No.
Right?
You're gonna be that guy.
A snap can of tuna on a long ride, instead of stopping at a gas station and grabbing a hot dog, snap can of tuna.
You're gonna have to convince a lot of big, heavy dudes.
I know. I'm just saying.
Well,
I don't think I would. I don't think I would ever.
Well, also they open.
I'm
just saying, you open that can on the bike. That's going.
Well, you
gonna
got the
smell
American
funny.
edition. Just don't put it in the saddlebag when you're done.
Well, you fit. Come on, they're a little can. You eat the whole thing, man. You throw it off to the side of the road.
Now, I will say the hydration thing. I treat the water kind of like leg day. I want to get it out of the way first. When I start my routine for the week, I want to hit legs.
At least you do leg day. Guys, don't skip leg day. Don't be a barstool bod.
That's right.
Just saying.
Do not skip leg day. Start with it. That way you enjoy the rest.
We got Johnny Rizzo on here. He says, "Here we go. Now I feel fat." Johnny was on the show 2 weeks ago.
Hey, Johnny.
And that's when we had Lone Star Cuisine here with the amazing spread of barbecue food that they put out here. And Johnny was just in awe, and he didn't know. Oh my God, he didn't know what to eat.
Everything, heart attack.
And then he says last night on his show, he goes, "Here I'm sitting next to this chiseled dude." He goes, and I kind of felt bad about eating it. He goes, but you know what? Screw it. I ate it anyway.
I didn't feel bad at all.
Hey, I got to rub his belly on it, so it was a win-win.
Hey, your name's Johnny Steaks.
Yeah, Johnny Steaks. Johnny Steaks.
But the hydration, the food, and we'll dive more in it. But it was just, I love hearing the feedback from people that talk to me after the show. And the funny thing was, I love the comment about the yoga and doing the downward dog on a rest. If anybody sees, anybody ever does it, send me a picture, please do. All right?
I want to see somebody doing a yoga move on their seat, like the whole with their hands on top.
Oh yeah.
On their seat doing the whole. I'm gonna try.
I'm gonna do the cobra.
So you're kind of doing like, are we now jumping into like bike yoga?
Huh?
We're doing bike yoga.
Well, they
now?
have goat yoga.
Is so yoga a part of fitness?
We could do yoga where you balance yourself on the bike. Like
that's a dangerous thing to be doing, man.
Like the goats, you have goat yoga. You're laying there and they lay on you and they walk on you and they
you know what? I would definitely do.
So here's an idea. Goat yoga. Right? Goat
yoga.
Goat yoga. Goat walks on your back.
All
right. So we'll get a whole bunch of yoga people out there and we can drive over them with the bikes. Wow.
That was not exactly.
That's bike yoga.
I think you pulled that one right out of your ass.
I was thinking the balancing on the bike, like you're on the seat. Because, when the bike's on the kickstand, Okay, next, keep going, Flex.
Are we good? Are we
Keep
good?
going.
John derailed me.
We
I
are
don't know.
crash
All right.
and burning right
Johnny
now.
says, so I guess clipping a bag of chips to my windshield is not good.
Actually, that's genius.
I think it's perfect.
I think that's
I think
genius.
it's perfect.
Actually,
You know?
and they just fly up. Oh, there's no video of me doing that.
All right. So next up, I wanted to say something. I want to give a shout out. I love success stories, especially with this gentleman here, Mike Hall. He was an avid long distance motorcyclist, was hit by a car while riding home one evening. And the crazy thing is, man, I've seen so many bikes down lately. I get it. We get every day I see somebody going, that I hear about something going down. It's reported. So this right here really, stuck out. The accident left him with multiple injuries, including a broken leg, several fractures, and requiring extensive surgeries and rehabilitation. Now, determined to regain his strength and return to biking, Mike focused on holistic recovery plan. Here's what he did. Nutrition facts. Balanced diet. Mike consulted with the nutritionist to develop a meal plan that emphasized proteins, healthy fats, and plenty of fruits and vegetables that helped his body heal faster and maintain energy. The hydration part, he made it a point to stay hydrated, which is crucial recovery. I know when I tore my quad from the bone, the elasticity of the tendons and the muscles, they need to be lubricated. You need to drink, you stay hydrated. So he made it a point to stay hydrated, and this included drinking plenty of water, incorporating electrolytes, your Pedialyte, to replace when he lost during therapy sessions. Physical rehabilitation. He also followed a rigorous rehabilitation program, which included physical therapy sessions focusing on building strength and mobility in his injured leg. Low impact exercise. While he began with low impact activities like swimming and cycling on stationary bikes, he gradually increased intensity and his strength returned. Mindset and motivation. Throughout his recovery, Mike maintained a positive mindset. He visualized himself back on the road, which kept him motivated. He leaned on his family and friends for support, sharing his progress and challenges. Their encouragement played a crucial role in his mental resilience. The comeback after months of hard work, Mike was finally cleared to ride again. He started with short rides to build his confidence and gradually prepared for longer distances. His dedicated to nutrition and recovery paid off, and he even participated in an endurance biking event a year after his accident. Mike, that's amazing.
Now, yes. Now, a year. So the recovery was a year. Now, what was the injuries again?
He had a broken leg. He had several fractures, and he had quite a bit of surgeries.
Now, without the proper nutrition, without the proper mindset and all that support and everything else that you were talking about, that recovery would have been a lot longer than that.
It would, because you think about it. I mean,
even a broken leg.
To ride. I mean,
I have
think
to
about
agree with this. Like, I have my own experience. I broke my back a few years ago, and I completely exploded my L3. And I was in my early 20s, and I was a centimeter away from being paralyzed from the waist down. I mean, it was that close. And it was all about nutrition. I mean, I was already kind of in that round. It wasn't until later that I got where I'm at with the beer and all that stuff. But at that point, I was really into like organics and like everything. And
organic beer?
Well, there is actually, but no, I mean, like in the clean eating and stuff.
Yes.
And from going from a centimeter away from being paralyzed from the waist down and like learning to walk again, and in 6 months, getting back to being active and being on the boat, and a year later being back snowboarding and taking the exact same trick that I did the year prior that fucked me up. But in doing that, it was all on nutrition, I have to say, because if I was just going to sit on my ass and like be sedentary and, surrender to what happened and not be active, I would have not been here.
I totally agree. And to piggyback off that, it's you know what it's like just being in the wintertime and it gets too cold or rainy where you can't ride your bike. There's a depression set in just on that.
Right.
I know with this, my goal was to be back on my bike in 3 months. Now I hit that goal, but it took a lot of work.
Took a lot of work.
It did. And I've seen people that have regressed and went backwards.
Let me ask you, was it a lot of work or was it just a lot of changes?
No, it was a lot of work.
It was a lot of work.
It was a lot of work. It really was. I mean, the quadrant, I mean, this looked anorexic, and this looked, because this got big and this one got, I mean, it looked deformed. And there's the full mobility, being able to bring the leg back. Some of the things that you just do, that you don't even think about, if it wouldn't have been for the recovery, the support system, the nutrition, and staying with it, I've seen people take 2-3 years and they still have a limp, or they didn't follow suit, or they gave up on riding, or depression kicked in. Next thing you know, they've gained 50, 60, 100 pounds.
Right.
So a support system's always good. Love the ones you're with, but when it comes down to it, if you eat like crap, you better have some portion control. If you
hear that, Johnny, you hear that, Johnny?
Johnny, if you for those that like to drink, does alcohol hydrate you, or
okay? We're not talking about alcohol. We're talking about
we're talking about that right now.
We're talking about food, not
so
alcohol.
I'm trying to give some tips there, people. If you're going to drink,
I've been drinking this much since I was younger, and I've been maintaining my weight just fine. Just kidding. Okay, fine.
Well, your metabolism's better than some.
Not really.
But does alcohol dehydrate you or hydrate you?
Absolutely dehydrate you.
Okay. So how about we counter that? If we're out on rides and we're doing that, if we have a drink, let's have a glass of water, a bottle of water.
Yeah.
Match one for
Mio.
one.
Yeah.
Because if not,
what?
Mio.
Vodka and Mio water.
Oh. You said Mio. Vodka and Mio?
Mio. The water. Squirt it,
in the vodka.
Yeah.
Okay. Put water in the vodka?
Water.
Oh, I thought you were saying put vodka and Mio and water together. I'm like,
I was with you. I thought you were saying just put the Mio in the vodka and you got it.
But then add that to water. Guys, making me out to look bad. Alcoholics over here. I'm just kidding.
But she's got her water bottle.
That is your water bottle.
And it's not even open.
Well, guys, thanks for letting me have on. That was the conclusion of my show. I'll be back next week. I have a special guest we're waiting to confirm, but we've been trying to get him on for a while. I don't want to put him out there until I know for sure.
Okay.
But Sam, I'm not saying anything, but I am. But other than that, thanks for letting me be on, guys.
Appreciate it.
The biker world, I love it. And guys, stay safe, eat right, get some exercise, be careful on the bike, love the ones you're with. Flex, I'm out.
All right, man. I appreciate it, Flex. That was Flex with Biker Fitness. Fitness is such an important spot of the biker world, and it's the most neglected things that we do. We take better care of our bikes than we do our bodies. We're going to come back right after this with the Mongo Log.
What we believe in at Glenn Larson Law is doing one thing and doing it really well. When I meet people, I always tell them, we're going to uncover every single rock possible. That's the medical component, that's your story and your voice.
We've solely focused on personal injury, whether that be a slip and fall accident or a commercial 18-wheeler, a motorcycle or DWI, motor vehicle accident. We specialize in that and that only.
When someone says, my neck really hurts, I know exactly how that feels. There's so much more to an injury case dealing with the pain level that people go through and how it affects their lives. and I know how to advocate to make sure that the insurance companies take all of that in consideration in every case.
We're very transparent and open to always keep them informed and stay on top of their case at all times.
Because we're a little bit smaller in team numbers, we're able to really dive into every single case and develop not only a client relationship, but a friendship and a lifelong connection.
We're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We'll meet you anywhere, at the scene, in the hospital, at your home. Whatever's best for the client, we will do every single time.
There is a connection component that I believe our firm is committed to. We want to be connected with you and your family beyond this case so that you know that you have a lifelong partner. Not just a case, but a lifelong connection and a lifelong voice. And we look forward to serving you.
Never mind that shit. Here comes Mongo.
Oh, Mongo.
Hey,
Mongo.
what's going on, everybody?
Hey, nothing much, brother. Hey, before you get into your Mongo log, you know, I want to let everybody know Mongo is a retired law enforcement, and he's also a United States Marine veteran. You know, so, and Mongo, you live by, you know, a code of law enforcement. You also live by a code of the military. You've structured your life around that way. I want to get your perspective on what Memorial Day means to you. And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but just off the cuff.
No,
yeah, well, yeah. So it's the military and the veterans that have come before me, those that we've lost and those that have survived. It was the way I was raised. I was raised by my stepfather, who is a Navy veteran. He's a retired command master chief. He served on submarines for many years, did several tours in Vietnam. My wife, Roxy, her oldest brother is a retired Air Force colonel. He flew Wild Weasel missions in the Gulf War. I'm a veteran. My brother's an Army veteran. He served in Somalia. My son is a Marine Corps veteran who served, enlisted for 5 years, got out, got educated, went back in, and he's now an F-18 pilot in the Marine Corps.
Wow.
So the military has kind of been part of the fabric of my entire life. So I see military service as something that is definitely needed by this country. And thank goodness for those that have chosen to serve and those that continue to serve.
Yeah, but with Memorial Day, there is confusion. A lot of people who have not grown up around the military aspect or did not have families within the military circle, you know, they celebrate Memorial Day. They don't know that it's about our fallen and not about our active.
Right. Well, and for the most part, that's a lot of people understand Memorial Day as a military thing. They just don't understand what. But for the most part, people see Memorial Day as, hey, I'm going to the river this weekend with my buddies. I'm going to be drinking beer and water skiing with the family. Yeah, it's a great holiday. It starts the summer season, but it's in remembrance of those that we've lost that have served our country.
Right. You know, and that's what we have to do. It's like I said before, it's okay to celebrate. It's okay to barbecue. It's okay to crack some beers. It's okay to go out on the river. It's okay to enjoy life.
Because you're celebrating the reason
right
why you were able to is because of those people that made the sacrifice.
But just take that moment with family and friends. Raise a beer.
Say a little something.
Right. Raise a beer to those who
pour a little out for your homies.
Who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country.
If you're not doing anything this weekend, you're probably going to maybe watch a little TV. I'm sure there's going to come a point in time where you're going to see a PSA on the local network for Memorial Day, take that second and realize what they've done for you.
Yes. Oh, yeah, you're saying yes.
Yep. Without a doubt, we would be living a different life if it was not for those fallen military veterans.
It was when I was younger. Actually, my dad is a retired full-bird colonel in the Army, and I remember when I was a little kid.
A little kid.
And I didn't know the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. Like, it was just a holiday you got off for school, and you had a 3-day weekend, and I didn't really quite know. And I remember somebody, and this was before Facebook, somebody brought a picture of their dad to, it was a show and tell, about like Memorial Day was coming up, but they showed a picture of their dad, and their dad wasn't dead yet. Or if that sounded really insensitive, but he was still alive. And so I remember the teacher talking about the difference of that. And then me going home and talking to my dad about like, what's the difference? And it wasn't until then that it was like, oh, it's not. Because to me as a kid, it was a military holiday. And we got a 3-day weekend, and it was about grilling and being with your friends.
Right.
Until I got older. And then, my dad's still
educated.
Right. Because I educated.
Educated.
I'm educated. I went to the Kansas University. But yes, it was like it means a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
And like as you get older too, and you start seeing, and also as you get older, you meet your veterans.
Yes.
You don't necessarily go somewhere. You might just be behind them in a grocery line or something, and you happen to have a conversation, but it starts to build on your respect. Like
with the Don Graves.
Yes.
When you hear the stories of, and you more than myself, but like do those roll call benefits, and you meet these guys from World War II and the Vietnam era, and you hear their stories.
Yes. And you hear the stories as veterans, right? And this is where like the line gets a little gray a little bit. So I'm hearing stories from veterans. Yes, so that's Veterans Day. Yes, my veterans. I'm hearing stories, but they're talking about people that have fallen and people that they served with that have been. Are no longer with us.
Their brothers that they fought alongside.
That's Memorial Day. Is hearing the story of like Don Graves. You've heard Don Graves talk to us multiple times about how he was on that fucking boat, and that door opens, and he goes, and boom, boom, boom.
The people he would talk.
There was maybe like 3 or 4 of them that made it off that boat, and he was one of them. Man, I mean that's insane.
His brothers, who he was speaking to, not 5 seconds before.
Oh yeah.
He told me a story that he was on the beach over at Iwo Jima, and he was laying head in the sand with
and then
the guy next to him just
gone,
just obliterated. And
this is what Memorial Day is about. This is why we talk about them every year. We need to remember every fucking sacrifice that happened with these soldiers, these kids sometimes that even lied. Our kids wouldn't do that these days, lie about their age to go to war. They're going to lie about to get out of it. They're going to be moving to Canada. Not back then. Not when our soldiers meant shit. Like, they mean shit now. But I mean, like, the passion.
I love this passion. This is good.
But I mean, the passion back then. And, like, I hate that it's being forgotten.
Yes.
I feel like it is. And I don't want to say that, but I feel like it is being forgotten. Like, the passion of, like, what was sacrificed and what made our country, and like what these men and women really put their lives on the line.
Yep. Without a doubt.
So you guys can still bitch on TikTok what you don't like. That was because our soldiers fucking did that and made your freedom. So you can get on social media and rant and rave your opinions, because that's what America is about. Freedom. And that's what those men died for. Sorry.
Good job.
Hello, people.
Sorry, Mongo, I forgot you were on there.
Well, Mongo.
This is what 3 hours does to you.
Let's get the Mongo log started, brother. You ready?
All right, here we go.
All right, here we go. Get ready for the famous Mongo log.
The government wants your money. This isn't news that I'm reporting. This is just a fact of life that we have all come to expect. The government schemes to swindle, cheat, scam, and generally defraud taxpayers of their hard-earned dollars, and have run the gamut from wasteful pork barrel legislation, cronyism, and graft to asset forfeiture, costly stimulus packages, and a national security complex that continues to undermine our freedoms while failing to make us any freer or safe. Americans have also been made to pay through their noses for our government's endless subsidization of foreign wars, a military empire, our welfare state, roads to nowhere, a bloated federal workforce, secret agencies, fusion centers, private prisons, biometric databases, an arsenal of weapons, and every other budgetary line item that has contributed to the fast-growing wellness of the corporate elite at the expense of those of us who barely making ends meet. And by that, I mean we, the taxpayers. Now, don't get me wrong with regard to the list that I just named, because obviously many of those things are actually required or needed to preserve our way of life. I get that. What I don't get is the bullshit graft and pork that goes on behind the scenes, which allows certain politicians and their benefactors to profit on the backs of the American taxpayer. If you two are comfortable wearing sneakers, a t-shirt, and jeans on date night with your significant other, then you and I are together on the bottom of floor of importance as far as the government is concerned. Because of the government's voracious appetite for money, power and control has grown out of control. Its agents have devised other means of funding its excesses that have added to its largesse through taxes that are disguised as fines, taxes disguised as fees, taxes disguised as tolls, tickets, and penalties. No matter how much money the government pulls in, it's never enough. So the government has come up with a new plan to make it even easier for its agents to seize America's bank accounts, make way for the digital dollar. The move to completely a cashless society could mean governments have more control over our wallets. Physical cash does have its drawbacks, but we've been doing pretty good to date, and I like the system. Now, unmonitored resources like cash do create opportunities for criminals, but they also create a sort of cushion between ordinary people and the government with extraordinary powers. In a cashless society, the government might intercept any transfers in which someone tried to lend money to someone accused of a crime. If hard cash were to disappear, we will need to think about somehow limiting the ability of the government to use the payment system as an instrument to control the behavior of we the people. A global economy running without physical cash will make it much easier for governments to control capital flow. Make no mistake about it. If Big Brother would love to know how we are spending our money. Physical cash allows payments and purchases to be made anonymously. Cash provides a cushion between ordinary people and our curious government. Financial autonomy and individual freedoms must always be protected. Every digital transaction leaves a trail of data that can be tracked and later analyzed. Why would they be interested in analyzing our monetary transactions? I don't know. Somebody, not me, should ask the IRS. We'd rather just fib a little on our annual income tax forms about our charitable contributions than to make ourselves known to the damned IRS. One of the most pressing concerns about cashless society is the loss of financial privacy, which in turn poses a significant risk to personal privacy and autonomy. Some countries are looking at abandoning physical cash entirely in favor of central bank digital currencies, which are called CBDCs. This is not science fiction. Let's face it, digital payments are convenient and efficient. Here's a problem that I have with these monologues. I start by going in one direction. I'll read something else that's related, and it takes me somewhere unexpected. I often find myself lost in a web of curiosity, diving deeper and deeper into some specific topic or situation, only to realize that I'm so far from where I started that I've lost track of my originally intended train of thought. Well, my friends, I'm here to tell you that I've taken that trip down the rabbit hole. I swear the internet rabbit holes were created to keep people with ADHD busy. The more I looked at this digital currency and its implications, the more I realized I'm essentially a Neanderthal. I like physical currency, and I'm beginning to wonder if even using a bank to store my money, albeit not a lot of it, is even safe. Here's just one small example of how governments can control our activities or behaviors by seizing our digital access to money. During the Canadian trucker protests in 2022, the Canadian government was prompted to invoke the country's Emergencies Act. It included measures to cut financial support to the protesters. Banks were ordered to freeze the accounts of individuals and organizations suspected of being involved in the protest, all without the need for a court order. That, my friends, is a problem. Big Brother can just freeze our assets until we fall in line. I'm pretty sure we've actually fought a few wars over this type of behavior. Transactions from everyday purchases to large financial transactions, if it involves digital data, those can be intercepted and exploited. It is imperative that we strike a balance between the technological progress, the preservation of fundamental rights, and the recognize that the freedom to use physical currency is not a matter of mere convenience, but a crucial safeguard against the erosion of our civil liberties. Taking a quote from Thomas Paine, the greatest tyrannies are always perpetrated in the name of the noblest causes. Fiat money is a government-issued currency that has no physical commodity like gold or silver backing it up. It is considered a form of legal tender that can be exchanged for goods and services. Governments and central banks worldwide are exploring the possibility of using government-backed digital currencies. When and if they are implemented, these currencies would have the full faith and backing of the government issuing them, just as our gold-backed money does today. Although I don't think there's enough gold to back up the money they have out there, but who am I to say that? What would be the advantage of a cashless society? Well, someone, and I don't know who, said in a cashless society, there would be a reduction in crime. Robberies, burglaries, and corruption would drop. Having worked with, but primarily against criminal enterprises, that's just bullshit. I've come to admire the ingenuity and the evil work ethic of the truly criminal mind. As cash is essentially untraceable, it's a useful tool for criminals. Digital currency is less easy to exploit and can supposedly be shut down quickly if it falls into the wrong hands. Supporters of cashless transactions also point to greater ease in everyday money management for individuals and businesses. The need to store, protect, withdraw, and deposit physical money disappears. International travel would also be more convenient without the exchange of paper currencies. Cashless payments increased significantly during the pandemic. In society today, being cashless has a legitimate advantage. Now, the next potential advantage, in my opinion, is just total horseshit. Less physical contact in the everyday economy minimizes the potential for any future pandemics to gain traction. I know that we all fell for the fake costume mask during COVID. Hell, some people still wear their masks today. Nobody, however, made us clean our money or clean our hands while exchanging money at Walmart, and yet here we all still are. Natural disasters or large-scale cyber attacks could render entire electronic financial systems useless, preventing people from accessing their money or buying what they need. In this type of scenario, the old-fashioned physical quality of cash seems reassuring. Because of banking requirements for a cashless society, 25% of all Americans are currently unable to participate in such a system. Finally, and we all know someone, if it's not actually us, elderly people may be less comfortable with tech and less able to switch from physical currency. If you want to know if you're old and about to be phased out, here's how you can tell. If you're having a technology-based problem, i.e. your smartphone, laptop, or desktop computer, and you ask your 6-year-old grandchild and they can resolve it while watching cartoons, then you, my friend, are old. Cash remains a very important part of our lives and is still most attractive payment option in most situations. With the amount of money being withdrawn continuing to increase daily, it's clear that cash has an important place in our wallets and purses for the foreseeable future. And that, my friends, is that. Whiskey improves with age, and I improve with whiskey. My name is Mongo. Whiskey goes in and wisdom comes out. I smoke cigars and I know things. Mongo is out. And now back to you in the studio.
Mongo, let me tell you, you're right. Cashless societies are just prone for corruption. Can you bring? Is he back up?
I'm here.
Oh, they're prone for corruption, or they could shut us down, and man, you will not have any access. And getting back to that 6-year-old fixing your iPhone, I am definitely old too, man, because that's what you need. You need somebody.
I'm not.
You can fix it.
I'm not old.
Do you have somebody fix your phone?
I do, but I'm not old.
I'm a tech idiot. As a matter of fact, I get online and I get into the studio backstage hours before the show, just in case I can't do it, so that my wife can come in and do it for me.
I was tech savvy. Like, I thought I was tech savvy. Like, I actually went to school because I wanted to design video games. I know,
Right.
I'm a nerd. I am a video game nerd. I'm not gonna lie. So this is 2000. I wanted to go to college to design video games, and so I got my graphic design degree and all this stuff. But if you don't keep up with that every damn year,
changes,
like
so-
you have lost your degree
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah, what
and
happens?
now you were a dental assistant for 20 years and talking to this guy on Wednesdays. That's what happens.
That's what happens.
Yeah. Just
Not that it's a bad
choose
thing.
your degree wisely.
Man.
Sorry.
But you bring up so many points where we handed cash back and forth. Traces of cocaine are on 99% of every dollar bill that goes across the counter.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Every dollar bill.
Yeah, you'll have some. Yeah,
You can lick your bills.
Just kidding.
You lick enough of them, you might get a numb tongue.
What was that?
I say you can lick your bills, and if you lick enough of them, you might get a numb tongue.
A numb tongue.
I think that's because the bacteria
No,
and
but,
tetanus, not because of the cocaine.
But we didn't wash our money, and as we're handing it off and passing it off, and the absorption rate and everything else, man, it was.
What?
And I walked against the arrows in Walmart, by the way, and I never got sick.
So I've heard like.
Did you stand in those yellow boxes?
Well, you almost had to, because everybody looked at you with a sneer if you didn't. But again, I never walked with the arrows. I always walked against them, and people would still look at me, and I'd be like, "I'm good." Just
Yeah.
there. It's stupid.
But you know what's funny, and here's the point: is those arrows in Walmart.
What arrows are we talking about?
That you had to, like,
Floor.
pandemic, you had to follow these arrows. You
Oh,
had to
no,
walk
see,
a
I
certain
didn't-
way,
I know.
I had a direction.
I didn't go anywhere.
right? That just shows
Don't
the
dash, I'm
herd
walking.
mentality
All
of
the little
of society. That that people would all of a sudden it was like robotic. Everybody had to follow those stupid arrows.
Hold on.
And it's like,
Hold on, no. I am. Like,
how is that going to prevent you from getting sick?
But see, people think I'm pretty social. I am pretty social. But I have to say, I loved what like the pandemic brought out from people, like, because we got space. I like space. I don't like people on my back when I'm checking out.
Right.
Like, they got 6 feet back. I can put my credit card information in a little keypad, and they're not standing over me. I love it.
Okay.
I get DoorDash now. I can get everything under the sun DoorDash to me now because of COVID.
Yeah, but DoorDash, you pay for a
I don't
hamburger.
care.
You
I don't care.
you pay like 50% more for DoorDash.
For my sanity.
But you don't know who packed your bag, and you don't know who's delivering your
I
bag.
don't know who put it in the package to begin with to put it at Walmart.
It was all a control. It's all.
Yes.
Hey, I admit DoorDash is convenient. I don't use it, but it's convenient. But it was all a control item.
I mean, there's all the things.
The pickup thing, the Walmart pickup
I mean,
and all that, because to me that you don't overspend. You're not
I like to know my total when I
right.
check out. I'm
You're-
a cheap bitch, man.
you're
I like
not-
to know my
you're
total.
not spontaneous buying stuff that you
Impulse
really don't
buying.
need. Right. Impulse
I mean, I
buying.
do because I'm like, ooh, I saved $15, so I got an extra $15.
I could buy another.
Like, what's
I could
on
buy
the
a bag
dollar
of potato
run?
chips I can strap onto my bike like Johnny Rizzo.
I
you
like
just
on the
slap it
way
on your
home from the gym, I'll either go to the grocery or I'll go to Walmart, one or the other. I'll get a few things and come home. I love doing that because I always pick up something extra.
See, I like when I go to the dollar store and do that because that's my budget.
The dollar store.
I like the dollar store. Dollar Tree.
Dollar
Let me
Tree.
get that right.
Dollar
Dollar
Tree.
Tree. I
Yes.
love me some Dollar Tree.
Yeah. Things are $3
because I can impulse buy there for $1.25.
You're right. That's right. All right, brother.
$1.25 Tree.
I want to thank you, Mongo, once again for an amazing Mongo log and sharing your thoughts on Memorial Day. Do appreciate it. God bless you and everybody over there. And you know what? Thank you.
You're welcome, and adios. Have a good weekend. Be careful.
All right.
Always.
You too. All right, man. That was the famous Mongo log bringing up some great points, bringing us stuff from his perspective. You
Always
can agree or
California.
disagree, but you know what? I think there's always, you know, all his monologues resonate with people everywhere.
I think we need to say Mongolog, the Republican in California.
Well, no, because yeah, it's not only Republican. I think his stuff resonates even with Democrats and liberals and
well, it's
conservatives.
It's the facts.
It's the facts. It's
like it
true
or don't,
stuff. Right.
It's what it is.
It is what it is, man.
You
It's
don't have to
common
like what I'm
sense.
serving.
It's common sense media, right there, man. He's telling you how it is.
Common sense media.
Common sense media. Like it?
I like it.
All right.
Speaking of common sense,
well, you know
I got
what?
some events coming up.
Yes,
Speaking of common sense events,
let's go over some of the events that we got. Some great events coming up. We have been booked solid.
Well, we didn't really get to talk about past events because unfortunately last week we had a little hiccup, so we didn't get to recap. But that's okay. We fixed it. We're good. So we're gonna have the guys from
Buffalo Joe's
Honor Guard.
Yep.
They're gonna come on. We're gonna have them back on the show, recap all that because they have a good cause and a good reason why we were out there.
Yes.
And unfortunately, shit happened. Shit happens.
Yeah.
But another thing that was right after we got done with Pinups and Pistons, and we had the Brotherhood for the Fallen car show. I mean, we had a lot of things coming up.
And we keep rolling. Man, so if you want to book the 99 for your event, you book us now, man, because we are filling up. You know, Tattoo Mark just reached out. He's like, hey, listen, can you guys be at this event? Because I need you guys there. You know, I want you guys there. You guys do a great job. And now I also booked Randall from Lone Star Cuisine. He's going to be at the Tattoo Mark event, and that's going to be on August 9th over at All Storage here on Industrial.
All right.
So, but let's talk about some of
that I didn't know about.
Yeah.
Okay, it's fine. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'll be there. But no, we have coming up. I have so coming in calendar. We have July coming up because I don't think we have anything in June. I think June we're pretty much just.
Well, June this weekend we got Carry the Load.
Carry the Load.
We got Carry the Load, and that's
Anything
with the
else
Badge of Honor. I got to check the calendar. I don't think we have anything in June.
But July.
July 19th is a busy day.
Yes, it is
for us. No, July. Well, yeah,
July 19th.
July 19th.
July 19th, I'm hosting the Beers and Betties at Perry's Kitchen or Perry's Pizzeria and Tap House off 35.
July 19th.
You are looking. Yes, we talked. Yes,
Shit.
you have. I know we double booked. We double
booked. Oh no.
No, this double booked.
Yes, because July 19th they also have the Ride for Suicide. The 10th annual Ride for Suicide.
That's fine.
And July 19th is a Jarhead Jam.
Well, you know what?
I think.
Don't quote me on the Beers and Betties. I can change my date. I haven't put anything out there yet. So you know what? So let's hold off on the Beers and Betties date. I might have to switch that because we can.
Let me just double check, man. Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
We'll figure this out.
We need an intern. If there's an intern that wants to get into media, please let us know.
We don't make that kind of money.
So let me just.
I can pay you in ultras.
In crypto money.
A weekly basis.
We'll figure it out. So we got Jarhead Jam coming up. We on May 27th. We have Trey Cordy Day. That's Choose to Move. That's with Aaron Wild and Mike Kislak.
Kislyak. He's gonna love that I keep saying that.
I know.
It's not. I'm saying it wrong. He hates it.
This weekend at Texas Harley Davidson, they are having barbecue to support our veterans.
Barbecue
Hogs at Harley.
That needs to be a title for a fucking event.
Yeah, Barbecue Hogs at Harley. The Baking with Betty's. Let's talk about that.
Speaking of Texas Harley.
That is a huge event that's coming up.
So he is going to get the confirmation on the prize winnings. So I don't want to completely say it again like what I did. There's going to be a major prize for first place pinup. I'm talking hundreds of dollars. Hundreds of dollars. I'm not talking 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or 5. So we're getting that confirmed by Micah and Harley. So it's going to be September 20th. Big baked good kind of theme bike rally. So the girls are going to be in like baked good theme, like strawberries, blueberries, cherries, all that fun summer sprinkles and all that good stuff. Summer vibes. Pie eating contest, maybe some pie wrestling. Don't know quite yet. We're getting in the works. Just got it.
Pie wrestling.
Well, it'd be more like the pie filling.
All right, yeah, yeah, okay.
cherry
I'm digging that. I'm digging that. I'm digging that.
Wrestling it all out in the day. I don't know, but one of those things. But yeah, we got the pinup contest, and I'm thinking, you know, I've been a Harley Davidson pinup contest before, and that's exactly how I got involved in Harley Davidson pinup or pinup in general. Is that they had a pinup contest, but I've never seen this big of a prize at any of them yet. So this is going to be a big one.
I'm sorry.
I know,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but the 7th annual Jarhead Jam and Back to School Bash is July 26th. I'm sorry. It was July 26th. I had it written down wrong. So July 19th is still not a double book day. Good.
I'm glad you got that.
I'm a great intern.
Applications, we will take them. You can email me at liveon99radiotv.com.
You know, truthfully, and this is on a serious note, if you are in college and you're an intern and you're getting into the broadcasting field, if you would like to be a part of the 99% Radio Network, please contact us because we are looking for internship, for bookings, for setups, for just to be a part of our show.
Not necessarily a graphic designer, but somebody more in scheduling and administrative.
Yeah, we can definitely use your help. So
we're begging. We are begging you, please help us. I'm just kidding. So you can email me. You can get on our page. Obviously, 99% Radio Network. Message us. It's me or him. They're gonna talk to us.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody else you're gonna talk to because he ain't answering emails.
Who, Chance?
He's over there just putting commercials on his shit.
There you go.
Sorry. How many shits do I have this episode?
Yeah, you've
Do I get fined?
Yes.
Oh.
$1.25 by Dollar General.
By Dollar General.
Yes.
I'm only paying Dollar Tree.
Wow. So once again, man, before we wrap this up, I wanna thank Lori.
Wait.
What?
5:41. We almost made 3 hours.
We almost made 3 hours. We're getting there. We're getting there. But I don't want to bore anybody else anymore. Once again, we went to 3 hours because we do have a lot of content. You know, it's all about where the rubber meets the road. We have so many amazing guests, so much good content to bring to you each and every week. Please drop us a comment, share, let us know what we're doing. Let us know what you want to see and how we're doing, you know, with our shows, our scheduling and everything else, because, you know, we're putting it all together for you. We want to be your voice. Yes. And that's what it's all about. We want to give you the platform that no traditional media will give you. We are here, and we are growing bigger and better each and every week because of you. But you know, Lori Montoya out of Colorado, Mongo out of California, Flex here with Biker Health, Glenn Lawson with the Biker Wolfpack. You know, we have so much information that hits everybody in some way or another. Plus our amazing guests, our biker guests, our organizations, our foundations. Tattoo Mark, and I really got to give this man a shout out again.
He's watching.
Who really is he watching?
Yeah,
who really has inspired and threw more wind in the sails of the 99% Radio Network by offering such great words of wisdom. And you know, I was really, you know, feeling the wind knocked out of the sails a little bit because you're being overwhelmed, you know. And then he'll leave me a friggin' text message. He'll leave me a words of inspiration, a voice message, and it's like, dude, this is what I'm doing it for, you know. And it's like he's got so much passion for the kids in the children's hospitals, and he's got so much energy, and he's battling a medical disease. He's battling medical issues, and this man still gets up and does stuff for
and
others.
Brings smiles to
and
other
he does.
Faces.
And it makes
he's going to be at a lot of our events.
Yes.
Like we're building a Rolodex of our 99 family.
Yeah.
Like Mark has his Tattoo Mark Foundation family. Yep. We're going to start building our family. So we have our barbecue people, we have our food truck people, we have our foundations that we like. We have the people that have worked with us because we're all about uplifting people that uplift us. It's not about like we're trying to get people to say the same back to us. It's not like tit for tat.
Right.
You know, I'm not trying to support people just because they say things back to us.
Right.
But it all does come back together. The support always brings back. If I show you love and you show me love,
yep,
it's all bringing everybody back together. I mean, that's what we're about. We're about community, and we're about sharing and boosting everybody up. That's what it's about.
100%. You know, Mark brought up something to me today, and I thought it would be a great thing to do because he's got a lot of charitable sponsors and people that do stuff with him, and so do we, right? He said, why don't we have a sponsor appreciation day? How cool would that be? Have a sponsor and club appreciation day. And, you know, when we talked to Angela the other day about maybe utilizing the parking lot here at Fishbowl, we could bring in that food truck we can bring in the food truck of Lone Star Cuisine, right? Hey, there he is. Hey. Oh my God. Hey, brother. Yo, hey, come here real quick. Hey, I know we're
gonna get a little surprise, guys. What's up, baby? How you doing?
What's up going on, brother? You want to give me a 2 seconds on air? Just on real quick. We're doing Memorial Day. Okay, come on. We're honoring our fallen veterans, and we've been dedicating the show to our veterans that have passed. Oh, well, did you hear my song? You ever heard my song, Homeless Hero?
Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, you need to hear this, Homeless Hero.
Real quick, we got a special guest who's just coming in to do his show, the legendary Howard Scott, military veteran. Yo, God. You know, I'm sorry for you so much.
He's
but
like, I'm just trying to go to work.
You are the person that we really want to do. Speak about Memorial Day, and I would love to have your perspective real quick. I know I'm getting you on the spot. You're getting onto your show.
That's okay. I got a couple of minutes.
What does Memorial Day mean to you, Howard?
For all the people that have served and past tense, that didn't make it, the people that have served us and all the people that have served this country, they're memorialized with Memorial Day. The fallen veterans, that's another thing. We have to always remember them. And I wrote a song for the group War. And it's on what album is it? It's just called Homeless Heroes.
Homeless Heroes.
It's about a veteran that went to Vietnam and did his duty, and he came back. And like a lot of vets, he became homeless. And so we're trying to say, like, all the veterans that are out there that serve, we need to take care of all our veterans and all the people that serve this country, no matter what. So the song Homeless Hero kind of memorialized Vietnam veterans and all the veterans, that have served this country. So my perspective is veterans, not at peace. We're at peace right now, but we're always at a state of war, so always a state of readiness. So all our veterans, man, like Memorial Day, power to you.
Thank you very much. I know I caught you on the spot.
That's okay, but I want you, listen, it's good to see you again.
Same
but
here.
I really want you to check out that song when you get a chance.
I'm going to check it out as soon as the show's over.
It's all about homeless heroes. It's about a Vietnam veteran. Charlie Company, 3rd Platoon, dodging bullets in the afternoon.
Oh, ooh. God bless. And your show is going on at 6 o'clock, right?
Matter of fact, we're doing a show with all the songs I did with Eric Burden. So my show today is about Eric Burden and war.
Oh, wow. All right.
So Spill the Wine and Magic Mount. But Spill the Wine was the biggest song we did with Eric Burden.
Really?
Remember that one?
No.
Oh, come on.
Come on, man. I remember Lowrider. Oh, well, yeah. Why Can't We Be Friends? Yeah.
Who's the pretty lady?
Huh? Oh. This is
Hi.
This is Pitbull. You haven't met.
Hello.
Hi, this is the new co-host of she's been here for almost a year.
Really?
But since we've been doing a 3 to 5 show. Now that we're going to 3 to 6, we'll be able to see.
We'll be able to run into you.
Okay, cool. Well, listen, it's my pleasure meeting you both.
Same here.
And we always be friends, man. But Memorial Day, if you need me, man, just call me.
Absolutely.
God bless, brother.
Thank
I'm here
you.
for you.
Same here.
All right.
Have a great show, Howard. That's Howard Scott with the legendary band War.
Excuse me. Let me take my shades off.
Hey. Okay.
I forgot to have my glasses on.
You're still looking sexy,
like,
brother.
Hold on, let me get
still
your
looking
eyes.
sexy. You know, you can check out the Howard Scott Show on Fishbowl Radio. Check out Howard Scott. Just inducted, right? Did you get inducted?
For the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
That's coming up. We're getting inducted for the Walk of Fame.
Walk of Fame.
Walk of Fame. That's coming up June 5th.
June 5th. God bless.
Nice.
Oh, get your star on Hollywood. You do, and you know what? You've sacrificed too.
You're always looking good, man. It's always good to see you.
God bless, brother.
Nice.
Thank you.
Sweetheart.
Legendary Howard Scott, man, from War. Why can't we be friends? There's so many iconic songs. It was funny. We had a guest in here from Roll Call, right? Oh, it was what's
Roy Davis.
Roy Davis.
Yeah.
Roy back in the 70s was
a party.
Roy was back in the 70s. We had Howard on the show, and he was telling us how he was doing a show in Guam back in the 1970s, and he got drunk and he was walking down the road. Roy picked him up. Roy picked him up. He was on the way to the show. So it was a small world here in Fishbowl. How everybody connects somehow. It's the Fishbowl, man. Anything can happen in there. But once again, I want to thank Howard Scott for that impromptu, interview real quick because he's getting ready for his show. Chance, thank you for being behind the mic over there, behind the board, and making the show what it is. Catch us every Wednesday, 3 to 5. Catch us at an event. You want to book us? Give us a shout. Give us an email. We will be more than happy to come there. And
Telegram,
voicemail, pigeon, whatever it is.
I'll take owl.
Owl.
Harry Potter.
All right.
I like it.
All right. And once again, man, if you can be anything in this world,
be kind.
Be kind.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.